Yeah.
There isn't another cardinal. Good.
I mean, there is another there's Cardinal Campius, but I think that theirs is says Campius, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think it's yeah, when it's generally the cardinal is going to be Wolsey. So yeah, we are now recording and live on YouTube. Hi, I'm Paul Sugarman. This is the Instant Shakespeare Company, and we're on our 24th season of doing readings of all of Shakespeare's plays, and so we're doing Henry VIII tonight, and I'm going to be playing. Oh my goodness, I've got to bring up the cast list. I'm playing a lot of things, Lord Sandys and a variety of things, but let's just introduce the company. So let's start with if people could just introduce themselves and what parts they'll be playing. Let's start with Eleanor.
I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman. I'm going to be playing Lord Chamberlain, Lord Chancellor, Servant, Old Lady, Cardinal Campeius. I'll be singing a song. I'll be playing Patience and Porter's Man.
Okay, thank you. And Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Kay. I'll be playing a variety of different roles, but I'll be playing Lord Suffolk, the Surveyor, and Anne Boleyn.
Okay, and Kitty.
I'm Kitty Chen. I'm reading a variety of roles. One, Buckingham and Buckingham, and Gentleman One, Bishop Gardiner, and Kramer.
Okay, and Jennifer.
Jennifer Finger. I am reading a number of roles tonight, including the Duke of Norfolk, Sir Thomas Lovell, Sir Anthony Denny, Dr. Betts, and a few others. Thank you.
And Jackie.
Oh, hi, I'm Jacqueline Margolis, and I'm reading Queen Catherine.
All right, and Angus.
Angus Hepburn from London reading Cardinal Wolsey.
All right, and Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill, and I'm just playing a king.
The title character, Henry VIII. All right, and so yeah, let us begin. I think there are stage direct because there's so many characters. I do think it's kind of important for the stage directions. So I will read them, and so let us begin with the famous history of the life of King Henry VIII. You're muted, Eleanor.
I come no more to make you laugh. Things now that bear weighty and a serious brows, sad high and working, full of state and woe. Such noble scenes as draw the eye to flow we now present. Those that can pity hear may, if they think it well, let fall a tear. The subject will deserve it. Such as give their money out of hope they may believe, may here find truth too. Those that come to see only a show or two, and so agree, the play may pass. If they be still and willing, I'll undertake may see away their shilling richly in 2 short hours. Only they that come to hear a merry, bawdy play, a noise of targets, or to see a fellow in a long motley coat guarded with yellow, will be deceived. For gentle hearers know to rank our chosen truth with such a show as fool and fight is, beside forfeiting our own brains and the opinion that we bring to make that only true we now intend, will leave us never an understanding friend. Therefore, for goodness sake, and as you are known the first and happiest hearers of the town, be sad as we would make ye. Think ye see the very persons of our noble story as they were living? Think you see them great and followed with the general throng and sweat of 1,000 friends? Then in a moment see how soon this mightiness meets misery. And if you can be merry then, I'll say a man may weep upon his wedding day.
Actus prima sine prima. Enter the Duke of Norfolk at one door, at the other the Duke of Buckingham and the Lord Abergavenny.
Good morrow and well met. How have you done since last we saw in France?
I thank your grace, healthful, and ever since a fresh admirer of what I saw there.
An untimely ague stayed me a prisoner in my chamber when these sons of glory, those two lights of men, met in the vale of Andren.
With skis and Ard, I was then present, saw them salute on horseback, beheld them when they lighted, how they clung in their embracement as they grew together, which had they? What four thrown ones could have weighed such a compounded one?
All the whole time I was my chamber's prisoner.
Then you lost the view of earthly glory. Men might say till this time pomp was single, but now married to one above itself. Each following day became the next day's master, so the last made former wonders its. Today the French, all concontinent, all in gold, like heathen gods shone down the English, and tomorrow they made Britain India. Every man that stood showed like a mine. Their dwarfish pages were as cherubins, all gilt. The madams, too, not used to toil, did almost sweat to bear the pride upon them, that their very labor was to them as a painting. Now this mask was cried incomparable, and the ensuing night made it a fool and beggar. The two kings, equal in luster, were now best, now worse, as presents did present them. Him and I, still him in praise, and being present both, was said this up but one, and no discerner does wag his tongue in censure. When these sons, so they phrase them, by their heralds challenged noble spirits to arms, it did perform beyond thought's compass. That former fabulous story being now seen, possible enough, got credited that Bevis was believed.
Oh, you go far.
I belong to worship and affect in honor, honesty, the track of everything, would but a good discourse or loosome way, which action self was tongue too.
All was royal. To the disposing of it not rebelled. Order gave each thing view. The office did distinctly his full function. Who did guide, I mean, who set the body and the limbs of this great sport together?
As you guess, one certes that promises no element in such a business.
I pray you who, my lord?
All this was ordered by the good discretion of the Right Reverend Cardinal of York.
The devil speed him. No man's pie is freed from his ambitious finger. What had he to do in these fierce vanities? I wonder that such a keech can with his very bulk take up the rays of the beneficial sun and keep it from the earth.
Truly, sir, there's in him stuff that puts him to these ends. For being not propped by ancestry, his grace chalks successors their way, nor called upon for high feats done to the crown, neither allied to eminent assistance, but spider-like out of his self-drawing web. Oh, gives us no, the force of his own merit makes his way a gift that heaven gives for him, which buys a place next to the king. I cannot tell what heaven hath given him. Let some graver eye pierce into that, but I can see his pride peep through each part of him. Whence has he that, if not from hell? The devil is a niggard, or has given all before, and he begins a new hell in himself.
Why the devil, upon this French going out, took he upon him, without the privity of the king, to appoint who should attend on him? He makes up the file of all the gentry, for the most part such to whom as great a charge as little honor he meant to lay upon. And his own letter, the honorable board of council, out must fetch him in, he papers.
I did not know kinsmen of thine, three at the least, that have by this so sickened their estates that never they shall abound as formerly.
Oh, many have broke their backs with laying manners on them for this great journey. What did this vanity but minister communication of a most poor issue?
Grievingly, I think. The peace between the French and us not values the cost that did conclude it.
Every man, after the hideous storm that followed, was a thing inspired, and not consulting broke into a general prophecy that this tempest, dashing the garment of this peace, aboded the sudden breach on it.
Which is budded out, for France hath flawed the league, and hath attached our merchants' goods at Bordeaux. Is it therefore the ambassador is silenced? Marry, is it? A proper title of a peace, and purchased at a superfluous rate.
Why all this business our reverend cardinal carried?
Like it, your grace, the state takes notice of the private difference betwixt you and the cardinal. I advise you, and take it from a heart that wishes towards you honor and plenty of safety, that you read the cardinal's malice and his potency together, to consider further that when his high hatred would effect, wants not a minister in his power. You know his nature, that he is revengeful, and I know his sword hath a sharp edge. It's long, and it may be said it reaches far, and where it will not extend, thither he darts it. Listen up my counsel, you'll find it wholesome. Lo, where comes that rock that I advise your shunning?
Enter Cardinal Wolsey, the purse borne before him certain of the guard and 2 secretaries with papers. The cardinal in his passage fixeth his eye on Buckingham, and Buckingham unhid, both full of disdain.
The Duke of Buckingham Surveyor, huh? Where's his examination?
Here, so please you.
Is he in person ready?
I please your grace.
Well, we shall know more, and Buckingham shall lessen his big look.
Exeunt Cardinal in his train.
This butcher's cur is venom mouth, and I have not the power to muzzle him. Therefore best not wake him in his slumber. A beggar's book outworth a noble's blood.
What are you chaffed? Ask God for temperance. That's the appliance only which your disease requires.
I read in his looks matter against me, and his eye reviled me as his abject object. At this instant he bores me with some trick. He's gone to the king. I'll follow and outstare him.
Stay, my lord, and let your reason with your collar question what 'tis you go about. To climb steep hills requires slow pace at first. Anger is like a full hot horse, who being allowed his way, self-mettle tires him. Not a man in England can advise me like you. Be to yourself as you would to your friend.
I'll to the king, and from a mouth of honor quite cry down this Ipswich fellow's insolence, or proclaim there's difference in no persons.
Be advised, heat not a furnace for your foe so hot that it do singe yourself. We may outrun by violent swiftness that which we run at, and lose by overrunning. Know you not the fire that mounts the liquor till it run o'er, and seeming to augment it, waste it? Be advised. I say again, there is no English soul more stronger to direct you than yourself. If with the sap of reason you would quench, or but allay the fire of passion.
Sir, I am thankful to you, and I'll go along by your prescription. But this top-proud fellow, whom from the flow of gall I name not, but from sincere emotions by intelligence and proofs as clear as fonts in July, when we see each grain of gravel, I do know to be corrupt and treasonous.
Say not treasonous.
To the king I'll say it, and make my vouch as strong as shore of rock. Attend, this holy fox or wolf, or both, for he is equal ravenous as he is subtle, and as prone to mischief as able to perform it. His mind and place infecting one another, yea, reciprocally. only to show his pomp as well in France as here in home, suggests the king our master to his last costly treaty. The interview that swallowed so much treasure and like a glass did break its wrenching.
Nay, and so it did.
Pray give me favor, sir. This cunning cardinal, the articles of the combination drew as himself pleased, and they were ratified as he cried, thus let be, to as much end as give a crutch to the dead. But our Count Cardinal has done this, and 'tis well, for worthy Wolsey, who cannot err, he did it. Now his follows, which as I take it is a kind of puppy to the old damned treason, Charles the Emperor, under pretense to see the Queen his aunt, for 'twas indeed his color, but he came to whisper Wolsey, here makes visitation. His fears were that the interview betwixt England and France might through their amity breed him some prejudice, for from this league peeped harms that menaced him. Privily deals with our cardinal, and as I trow, which I do well, for I'm sure the emperor paid ere he promised, whereby his suit was granted ere it was asked. But when the way was made and paid with gold, the emperor thus desired that he would please to alter the king's course and break the foresaid peace. Let the king know, as soon he shall by me, that thus the cardinal does buy and sell his honor as he pleases, and for his own advantage.
Sorry to hear this of him, and could wish you were something mistaken in it.
No, not a syllable. I do pronounce him in that very shape he shall appear in proof.
Enter Brandon, a sergeant-at-arms before him, and 2 or 3 of the guard.
Your office, Sergeant, executed.
Sir, my lord the Duke of Buckingham and Earl of Hereford, Stafford, and Northampton, I arrest thee of high treason in the name of our most sovereign king.
Lo you, my lord, the net has fallen upon me. I shall perish under device and practice.
I am sorry to see you ta'en from liberty, to look on the business present. 'Tis his highness's pleasure, you shall to the Tower.
It will help me nothing to plead mine innocence. For that dye is on me which makes my wife's part black. The will of heaven be done in this and all things. I obey, O my lord o' Burgundy. Very well.
Nay, he must bear you company. The king is pleased you shall to the Tower till you know how he determines further.
As the Duke said, the will of heaven be done, and the king's pleasure by me obeyed.
Here is a warrant from the king to attach Lord Montacute and the bodies of the Duke's confessor, John de la Carre, one Gilbert Peck, his counselor.
So. These are the limbs of the plot. No more, I hope.
A monk of the Chartreuse.
Oh, Michael Hopkins?
He.
My surveyor is false. The o'er-great cardinal hath showed him gold. My life is spanned already. I am the shadow of poor Buckingham, whose figure even this instant cloud puts on, by darkening my clear sun. My lords, farewell.
Exeunt, Scena Secunda, coronets, enter King Henry leaning on the cardinal's shoulder, the nobles and Sir Thomas Lovell. The cardinal places himself under the king's feet on his right side.
My life itself and the best heart of it thanks you for the great care. I stood at the level of a full charged confederacy, and thanks to you that choked it. Let it be called before that gentleman of Buckingham's in person. I'll hear him, his confessions justify, and point by point the treasons of his master he shall again relate.
A noise within, crying, "Room for the Queen!" Ushered by the Duke of Norfolk. Enter the Queen, Norfolk, and Suffolk. She kneels. King riseth from his state, takes her up, kisses, and places her by him.
Oh, nay, we must longer kneel. I am a suitor.
arise and take place by us. Half your suit never named to us, you have half our power. The other moiety, ere you ask is given, repeat your will and take it.
Thank your majesty, that you would love yourself, and in that love, not unconsidered, leave your honor, nor the dignity of your office, is the point of my petition.
Lady mine, proceed.
I am solicited, not by a few, and those of true condition, that your subjects are in great grievance. There have been commissions sent down among them, which hath floored the heart of all their loyalties, wherein, although my good Lord Cardinal, they vent reproaches most bitterly on you, as putter on of these exactions. Yet the king, our master, whose honor heaven shield from soil, even he escaped not language unmannerly, yea, such which breaks the side of loyalty and almost appears in loud rebellion.
That almost appears, it doth appear. For upon these taxations, the clothiers, all not able to maintain the many to them longing, have put off the spinsters, carters, fullers, weavers, who, unfit for other life, compelled by hunger and lack of other means, in desperate manner, daring the event to the teeth, are all in uproar, and danger serves among them.
Taxation? Wherein it? And what taxation? My Lord Cardinal, you that are blamed for it alike with us, you know of this taxation?
Please you, sir, I know but of a single part in aught pertains to the state, and front within that file where others tell steps with me.
No, my lord, you know no more than others, but you frame things that are known alike, which are not wholesome to those which would not know them, and yet must perforce be their acquaintance. These exactions, whereof my sovereign would have none, would have note, they are most pestilent to the hearing, and to bear them the back is sacrifice to the load. They say they are devised by you, or else you suffer too hard an examination and explanation.
Still exaction, the nature of it and what kind, let's know. Is this exaction?
I am much too venturous and tempting of your patience, but I'm boldened under your promised pardon. The subject's grief comes through commissions, which compel from each the sixth part of his substance to be leveled without delay. And the pretense for this is named your wars in France. This makes bold mouths, tongues spit their duties out, and cold hearts freeze allegiance to them. Their curses now live where their prayers did, and it's come to pass. The tractable obedience is a slave to each incensed will. I would your highness would give it quick consideration, for there is no prime of baseness.
By my life, this is against our pleasure.
And for me, I have no further gone in this than by a single voice, and that not past me, but by learned approbation of the judges. If I am trounced by ignorant tongues, which neither know my faculties nor person, yet will be the chronicles of my doing, let me say, 'tis but the fate of place, and the rough break that virtue must go through. We must not stint our necessary actions in the fear to cope malicious censurers, which ever as ravenous fishes do a vassal follow that is new trimmed, but benefit no further than vainly longing. What we oft do best by sick interpreters, one's weak ones, is not ours or not allowed. What worst, as oft hitting a grosser quality, is cried up for our best act. If we shall stand still in fear our motion will be mocked or carped at, we should take root here where we sit, or sit state statues only.
Things done well and with care exempt themselves from fear. Things done without example in their issue are to be feared. Have you a president of this commission? I believe not any. We must not rend our subjects from our laws and stick them in our will. Sixth part of each, a trembling contribution. Why, we take from every tree, lop, bark, or part of the timber, and though we leave it with the root thus hacked, the air will drink the sap. To every county where this is questioned, send our letters with free pardon to each man that has denied the force of this commission. Pray look to it. I put it to your care.
A word with you. Let there be letters writ to every shire of the king's grace and pardon. The grieved commons hardly conceive of me. Let it be noised that through our intercession this revokement and pardon comes. I shall anon advise you further in the proceedings.
Exit secretary, enter surveyor.
I am sorry that the Duke of Buckingham is run in your displeasure.
It grieves many. The gentleman is learned and a most rare speaker, that to nature none more bound. This training such that he may furnish and instruct great teachers, and never seek for aid out of himself. Yet see, when these so noble benefits shall prove not well disposed, the mind growing once corrupt, they turn to vicious forms, 10 times more ugly than they were fair. This man so complete was who was enrolled amongst wonders, and we almost with ravished listening could not find his hour of speech a minute. He, my lady, hath into monstrous habits put the graces that once were his, and is become as black as it besmeared in hell. Sit by us, you shall hear. This was his gentleman in trust of him, things to strike honor sad. Bid him recount the recited practices whereof we cannot feel too little, hear too much.
Stand forth and with bold spirit relate what you, most like a careful subject, have collected out of the Duke of Buckingham.
Speak freely.
First, it was usual with him every day, it would infect his speech, that if the king should without issue die, he'll carry it, so to make the scepter his. These very words I've heard him utter to his son-in-law, Lord Abergavenny, to whom by oath he menaced revenge upon the cardinal.
Please, your highness, note this dangerous conception in this point, not friended by his wish to your high person. His will is most malignant, and it stretches beyond you to your friends.
Oh, my learned lord, the cardinal, deliver all with charity.
Speak on. How granted he his title to the crown upon our fail to this point? Hast thou heard him at any speak aught?
He was brought to this by a vain prophecy of Nicholas Henton.
What was that, Henton?
Sir, a Chartreuse friar, his confessor, who fed him every minute with words of sovereignty.
How knowest thou this?
Not long before your highness sped to France, the Duke, being at the Rose within the parish St. Laurence Pulteney, did of me demand what was the speech among the Londoners concerning the French journey. I replied, men fear the French would prove perfidious to the king's danger. Presently, the Duke said 'twas the fear indeed, and that he doubted 'twould prove the verity of certain words spoke by a holy monk, that oft, says he, hath sent to me, wishing me to permit John de la Carre, my chaplain, a choice hour to hear from him a matter of some moment, whom, after under the commission seal, he solemnly had sworn that what he spoke, my chaplain to no creature living, but to me, should utter with demure confidence, this pausingly ensued. Neither the king nor heirs, tell you the Duke, shall prosper. Bid him strive to the love of the commonalty. The Duke shall govern England.
I know you well, you were the Duke's surveyor and lost your office on the complaint of the tenants. Take good heed you charge not in your spleen a noble person and spoil your noble soul. I say take heed, yes, heartily beseech you.
Let him on. Go forward.
On my soul, I speak the truth. I told my lord the duke, by the devil's illusions, the monk might be deceived, and that 'twas dangerous for this to ruminate on this so far, until it forged him some design, which, being believed, it was much like to do. He answered, tush, it can do me no damage, adding further, that had the king in his last sickness failed, the cardinal's and Sir Thomas Lovell's heads should have gone off.
Huh? What so rank? There's mischief in this man. Canst thou say further?
I can, my liege.
Proceed.
Being at Greenwich after your highness had reproved the duke about Sir William Bloomer,
I remember of such a time, being my sworn servant, the duke retained him his. But on, what hence?
but if, quoth he, I for this had been committed as to the Tower, I thought, I would have played the part my father meant to act upon the usurper Richard, who, being at Salisbury, made suit to come in's presence, which, if granted, as he made semblance of his duty, would have put his knife into him.
A giant traitor.
Ah, madam, may his highness live in freedom, and this man out of prison.
Oh God, Mendel.
There's something more would out of thee. What sayst?
After the duke his father, with the knife he stretched him, and with one hand on his dagger, another spread one's breast, mounting his eyes, he did discharge a horrible oath, whose tenor was, were he evil used, he would outgo his father by as much as a performance does an irresolute purpose.
There's his period, to sheathe his knife in us. He is attached. Call him to present trial. If he may find mercy in the law, 'tis his. If none, let him not seek of us. By day and night, he's traitor to the height.
Exeunt. Scene at Tertia. Enter Lord Chamberlain and Lord Sandys.
Possible the spells of France should juggle men into such strange mysteries?
New customs, though they never be so ridiculous, nay, let 'em be unmanly, yet are followed.
As far as I see, all the good our English have got by the late voyage is but merely a fit or two of the face. But they are shrewd ones, for when they hold 'em, you would swear directly their very noses had been counselors to Pepin or Clotharius. They keep state so.
They have all new legs, and lame ones. One would take it that never seen 'em pace before the spaven. A spring halt reigned among 'em.
Death, my lord, their clothes are after such a pagan cut to it, that sure they've worn out Christendom. Hello, would you, Sir Thomas Lovell?
Enter Sir Thomas Lovell.
Faith, my lord, I hear of none but the new proclamation that's clapped upon the court gate.
What is't for?
The reformation of our travel gallants that fill the court with quarrels, talk, and tailors.
I'm glad 'tis there. Now I would play our messieurs to think an English courtier may be wise and never see the lure.
They must either, for so run the conditions, leave those remnants of fool and feather that they got in France, with all their honorable points of ignorance pertaining thereto, as fights and fireworks, abusing better men than they can be out of a foreign wisdom, renouncing clean the faith they have in tennis and tall stockings, short blistered breeches, and those types of travel, and understand again like honest men or packs of their old playfellows. There, I take it, they may cum privilegio, we away the lag end of their lewdness and be laughed at.
'Tis time to give 'em physic. Their diseases are grown so catching.
What a loss our ladies will have of these trim vanities.
Ay, marry, there will be woe indeed, lords. The sly whoresons have got a speeding trick to lay down ladies, a French song and a fiddle, as no fellow.
The devil fiddle him. I am glad they are going, for sure there's no converting of him. Now, an honest country lord as I am, beaten a long time out of play, may bring his plain song and have an hour of hearing, and by Our Lady held current music too.
Well said, Lord Sands. Your colt's tooth is not cast yet?
No, my lord, nor shall not while I have a stump.
Sir Thomas, whither were you a-going?
To the cardinals. Your lordship is a guest too.
Oh, 'tis true. This night he makes supper, and a great one. To many lords and ladies there will be the beauty of this kingdom, I'll assure you.
That churchman bears a bounteous mind indeed. The hand is fruitful as the land that feeds us. His dews fall everywhere.
No doubt he's noble. He had a black mouth that said other of him.
He may, my lord, has wherewithal in him. Sparing would show a worse sin than ill doctrine. Men of his way should be most liberal. They are set here for examples.
True, they are so, but few now give so great ones. My barge stays. Your lordship shall along. Come, good Sir Thomas, we shall be late else, which I would not be, for I was spoke to with Sir Henry Guilford this night to be comptrollers.
I am your lordship's. Exeunt. Ho, boys, a small table under a state for the cardinal, a longer table for the guests. Then enter Anne Bullen and divers other ladies and gentlemen as guests at one door, and at another door enter Sir Henry Guilford. Ladies, a general welcome from his grace salutes ye all. This night he dedicates to fair content, and you, none here he hopes in all this noble bevy has brought with her one care abroad. He would have all as merry as first. Good company, good wine, good welcome can make good people. Enter Lord Chamberlain, Lord Sands, and Lovell. Oh, my lords, you are tardy. The very thought of this fair company clapped wings to me.
You're young, Sir Harry Guilford.
Sir Thomas Lovell had the cardinal but half of my lay thoughts in him. Some of these should find a running basket ere they rested. I think 'twould be better please 'em by my life. They are a sweet society of fair ones.
Oh, that your lordship were not confessor to one or two of these.
I would I were. They should find easy penance.
Hey, how easy?
As easy as a down bed would afford it.
Sweet ladies, will it please you sit? Sir Harry, place you that side. I'll take the charge of this. His grace is entering. Nay, you must not freeze. Two women placed together makes cold weather. My Lord Sands, your one will keep 'em waking. Place it between these ladies.
By my faith, and thank your lordship. By your leave, sweet ladies, if I chance to talk a little wild, forgive me. I had it from my father.
Was he mad, sir?
Oh, very mad, exceeding mad, in love too, but he would bite none, just as I do now. He would kiss you 20 with a breath.
Well said, my lord. So now you're fairly seated. Gentlemen, the penance lies on you if these fair ladies pass away frowning.
For my little cure, let me alone. Ho, boys, enter Cardinal Wolsey and takes his state.
Ye are welcome, my fair guests. That noble lady or gentleman that is not freely merry is not my friend. And to confirm my welcome, and to you all good health.
Your grace is noble. Let me have such a bowl may hold my thanks and save me so much talking.
My Lord Sands, I am beholding to you. Cheer your neighbours. Ladies, you are not merry. Gentlemen, whose fault is this?
Oh, well, the red wine first must rise in their fair cheeks, my lord. Then we shall have 'em talk us to silence.
You are a merry gamester, my Lord Sands.
Yes, if I make my play. Here's to your ladyship, and pledge it, madam, for 'tis to such a thing.
You cannot show me.
Drum and trumpet, chambers discharged. I told your grace they would talk anon.
What's that?
Look out there, some of ye.
What warlike voice, and to what end is this? Nay, ladies, fear not. By all the laws of war, you're privileged.
Enter a servant.
How now, what is't?
A noble, sorry.
Go ahead.
A noble troop of strangers, for so they seem, to have left the barge and landed, and hither make as great ambassadors from foreign princes.
Good Lord Chamberlain, go give him welcome. You can speak the French tongue, and pray receive him nobly, and conduct him into our presence, where this heaven of beauty shall shine at full upon them. Some attend him.
All rise, and tables removed.
You now have a broken banquet, but we'll mend it. A good digestion to you all. And once more I shower a welcome on ye. Welcome all.
Ho boys, enter king and others as maskers, habited like shepherds, ushered by the Lord Chamberlain. They pass directly before the cardinal and gracefully salute him.
A noble company. What are their pleasures?
Because they speak no English, thus they prayed to tell your grace, that having heard by fame of the so noble and so fair assembly this night to meet here, they could do no less, out of the great respect they bear to beauty, but leave their flocks, and under your fair conduct crave leave to view these ladies, and entreat an hour of revels with them.
Say, Lord Chamberlain, they have done my poor house grace, for which I pay him 1,000 thanks, and pray him take their pleasures.
Choose ladies, King and Anne Boleyn.
The fairest hand I ever touched. Oh, beauty, till now I never knew thee.
My lord.
Your grace?
Pray tell him thus much from me. There should be one amongst them by his person more worthy this place than myself, to whom, if I but knew him, with my love and duty, I would surrender it.
I will, my lord.
What say they?
Such a one, they all confess there is indeed, which they would have your grace find out, and he will take it.
Oh, let me see, then. By all your good leaves, gentlemen, I'll here make my royal choice.
He found him, Cardinal. You hold a fair assembly. You do well, Lord. You are a churchman, or I'll tell you, Cardinal, you should judge now unhappily.
I am glad your grace is grown so pleasant.
My Lord Chamberlain, prithee come hither. What fair lady is that?
And please your grace, Sir Thomas Bullen's daughter, the Viscount Rochford, one of her highness women.
By heaven, she is a dainty one, sweetheart. I were unmanly to take you out and not to kiss you. A health, gentlemen, let it go round.
Sir Thomas Lovell, is the banquet ready in the privy chamber?
Yes, my lord.
Your grace, I fear with dancing is a little heated.
I fear too much.
But there's fresher air, my lord, in the next chamber.
Lead in your ladies, everyone. Sweet partner, I must not yet forsake you. Let's be merry. Good, my Lord Cardinal. I have half a dozen healths to drink to these fair ladies, and a measure to lead them once again. And let's not dream who's best in favor. Let the music knock it.
Exeunt with trumpets, actus secundus, scena prima, enter two gentlemen at several doors. Where's gentleman one?
You want me to read out? Whither away so fast?
Oh, God save ye, even to the hall, to hear what shall become of the great Duke Buckingham.
I'll save you that labor, sir. All's now done, but the ceremony of bringing back the prisoner.
Were you there?
Yes, indeed was I.
Pray speak, what has happened?
You may guess quickly what.
Is he found guilty?
Yes, truly is he, and condemned upon it.
I am sorry for it.
So are a number more.
But pray, how passed it?
I'll tell you in a little. The great Duke came to the bar, where to his accusations he pleaded still not guilty, and alleged many sharp reasons to defeat the law. The king's attorney, on the contrary, urged on the examinations, proofs, confessions of divers witnesses, which the Duke desired to him brought viva voce to his face, and which appeared against him. His surveyor, Sir Gilbert Peck, his chancellor, and John Kerr confessed it to him with that devil monk, Hopkins, that made this mischief.
That was he that fed him with his prophecies.
The same. All these accused him strongly, which he fain would have flung from him, but indeed he could not. And so his peers upon this evidence have found him guilty of high treason. Much he spoke, and learnedly for life, but all was either pitied in him or forgotten.
After all this, how did he bear himself?
When he was brought again to the bar to hear his knell, when he was brought again to the bar to hear his knell rung out, his judgment, he was stirred with such an agony. He sweat extremely, and something spoken, color, ill and hasty, but he fell to himself again sweetly, and all the rest showed a most noble patience.
I do not think he fears death.
Sure he does not. He never was so womanish. The cause he may a little grieve at.
Certainly the cardinal is the end of this.
'Tis likely by all conjectures. First Kildare's attender, then deputy of Ireland, who removed Earl Surrey, was sent thither and haste to, lest he should help his father.
That trick of state was a deep, envious one.
At his return, no doubt, he requited. This is noted, and generally, whoever the king favors, the cardinal instantly will find employment, and far enough from court too.
All the commons have him perniciously, and oh, my conscience, wish him 10 fathom deep. This duke is much they love and dote on. Call him bounteous Buckingham, the mirror of all courtesy.
Enter Buckingham from his arraignment, tipstaves before him, the axe with the edge towards him, halberds on each side, accompanied with Sir Thomas Lovell, Sir Nicholas Vaux, Sir Walter Sands, and common people, etc.
Stay there, sir, and see the noble rule man you speak of.
Let's stand close and behold him.
All good people, you that thus far have come to pity me, hear what I say, and then go home and lose me. I have this day received a traitor's judgment, and by that name must die. Yet heaven bear witness, and if I have a conscience, let it sink me, even as the axe falls, if I be not faithful. The law I bear no malice for my death, thus has done upon the premises but justice. But those that sought it, I could wish more Christians, be what they will, I heartily forgive them. Yet let them look they glory not in mischief, nor build their evils on the graves of great men. For then my guiltless blood must cry against them. For further life in this world I ne'er hope, nor will I sue, although the king have mercies more than I dare make faults. You few that loved me, and dare be bold to weep for Buckingham, his noble friends and fellows, whom to leave is only bitter to him, only dying. Go with me like good angels to my end. And as the long divorce of steel falls on me, make of your prayers one sweet sacrifice and lift my soul to heaven. Lead on a God's name.
I do beseech your grace, for charity, if ever any malice in your heart were hid against me, now to forgive me frankly.
Sir Thomas Lovell, I as free forgive you as I would be forgiven. I forgive all. There cannot be numberless offenses against me that I cannot take peace with. No black envy shall make my grave. Can men commend me to his grace? And if he speak of Buckingham, pray tell him, you met him half in heaven, My vows and prayers yet are the king's, until my soul forsake, shall cry for blessings on him. May he live longer than I have time to tell his years. Ever beloved and loving may his rule be. And when old time shall lead him to his end, goodness and he fill up one monument.
The waterside I must conduct your grace. Then give up my charge to Sir Nicholas Vaux, who can undertake you to your end.
Prepare there, the Duke is coming. See the barge be ready, and fit it with such furniture as suits the greatness of his person.
Nay, Sir Nicholas, let it alone. My state now will but mock me. When I came hither, I was Lord High Constable and Duke of Buckingham. Poor Edward Bowen, yet I am richer than my base accusers that never knew what truth meant. I now seal it, and with that blood will make him one day groan for it. My noble father, Henry of Buckingham, who first raised head against usurping Richard, flying for succor to his servant Bannister, being distressed, was by that wretch betrayed, and without trial fell. God's peace be with him. Henry VII succeeding, truly pitying my father's loss, like a most royal prince restored me to my honors, and out of ruins made my name once more noble. Now his son, Henry VIII, life, honor, name, and all that made me happy, at one stroke has taken forever from the world. I had my trial, I must needs say a noble one, which makes me a little happier than my wretched father. Yet thus far we are one in fortunes, both fell by our servants, by those men we loved most. A most unnatural and faithless service. Heaven has an end in all. Yet you that hear me, this from a dying man receive as certain. Where you are liberal of your loves and counsels, be sure you be not loose. For those you make friends and give your hearts to, when they once perceive the least rub in your fortunes, fall away like water from ye, never found again, but where they mean to sink ye. All good people pray for me. I must now forsake ye. The last hour of my long, weary life is come upon me. Farewell. And you would say something that is sad. Speak how I fell. I have done, and God forgive me.
Exeunt Duke and train.
Oh, this is full of pity. Sir, it calls, I fear, too many curses on their heads that were the authors.
If the Duke be guiltless, 'tis full of woe, yet I can give you inkling of an ensuing evil if it fail, greater than this.
Oh, good angels, keep it from us. What may it be? You do not doubt my faith, sir?
This secret is so weighty, 'twill require a strong faith to conceal it.
Well, let me have it. I do not talk much.
I am confident you shall, sir. Did you not of late days hear a buzzing of a separation between the king and Catherine?
Yes, but it held not. For when the king once heard it, out of anger, he sent command to the Lord Mayor straight to stop the rumor and allay those tongues that dispersed it.
But that slander, sir, is found a truth now, for it grows again, fresher than ere it was, and held for certain the king will venture at it. Either the cardinal or some about him near have out of malice to the good queen possessed him with a scruple that will undo her. To confirm this too, Cardinal Campius is arrived, and lately, as all think, for this business.
'Tis the cardinal, and nearly to revenge him on the emperor for not bestowing on him as is asking the Archbishop prick of Toledo, this is proposed.
I think you have hit the mark, but it's not cruel that she should feel the smart of this. The cardinal will have his will, and she must fall.
Oh, 'tis woeful. We are too open here to argue this. Let's think in private more.
Exeunt, Scena Secunda. Enter Lord Chamberlain reading this letter.
Page.
47.
My lord, the horses your lordship sent for. With all the care I had, I saw well chosen, ridden, and furnished. They were young and handsome, and the best breed in the north. When they were ready to set out for London, a man of my lord cardinal's by commission and main power took 'em from me. With this reason, his master would be served before a subject, if not before the king, which stopped our mouths, sir. I fear he will indeed. Well, let him have them. He will have all, I think.
Enter to the Lord Chamberlain the Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk.
Well met, my Lord Chamberlain.
Good day to both your graces.
How is the king employed?
I left him private, full of sad thoughts and troubles.
What's the cause?
It seems the marriage with his brother's wife has crept too near his conscience.
No, his conscience has crept too near another lady.
So, this is the cardinal's doing. The king cardinal, a blind priest like the eldest son of fortune, turns what he lists. The king will know him one day.
Pray God he do. I'll never know himself else.
How holily he works in all his business and with what zeal. For now he has cracked the league between us and the emperor, the queen's great nephew. He dives into the king's soul, and there scatters dangers, doubts, wringing of the conscience, fears, and despairs. And all these for his marriage. And out of all these to restore the king, he counsels a divorce, a loss of her that like a jewel has hung 20 years about his neck, yet never lost her luster, of her that loves him with that excellence that angels love good men with, even of her that when the greatest stroke of fortune falls will bless the king. And is not this course pious?
Heaven keep me from such counsel. 'Tis most true these news are everywhere. Every tongue speaks them, and every true heart weeps for it. All that dare look into these affairs see this main end, the French king's sister. Heaven will one day open the king's eyes that have so long have slept upon this bold, bad man.
And free us from his slavery.
We indeed pray and heartily for our deliverance, or this imperious man will work us all from princes into pages. All men's honors like one lump before him to be fashioned to what pitch he please.
For me, my lords, I love him not, nor fear him. There's my creed. As I am made without him, so I'll stand. If the king please, his curses and his blessings touch me alike. Their breath I not believe in. I knew him, and I know him. So I leave him to him that made him proud, the Pope.
Let's in, and with some other business, put the king from these sad thoughts that work too much upon him. My lord, you'll bear us company?
Excuse me, the king has sent me otherwhere. Besides, you'll find him most unfit time to disturb him. Health to your lordships.
Thanks, my good Lord Chamberlain.
Exit Lord Chamberlain, and the king draws the curtain and sits reading pensively.
How sad he looks. Sure he is much afflicted.
Who's there? Huh?
Pray God he be not angry.
Who's there, I say? How dare you thrust yourselves into my private meditations? Who am I, huh?
A gracious king that pardons all offenses, malice ne'er meant. Our breach of duty this way is business of a state in which we come to know your royal pleasure.
You are too bold. Go to. I'll make ye know your times of business. Is there an hour of temporal affairs? Huh?
Enter Wolsey and Campius with a commission.
Who's there? My good Lord Cardinal? Oh, my Wolsey, the quiet of my wounded conscience. Thou art a cure fit for a king. You're welcome, most learned reverend sir, into our kingdom. Use us and it. My good Lord, have great care. I be not found a talker.
Sir, you cannot. I would your grace would give us but an hour of private conference.
We're busy. Go.
This priest has no pride in him.
Not to speak of. I would not be so sick, though, for his place, but this cannot continue.
If it do, I'll venture one. Have at him.
I another.
Exeunt Norfolk and Suffolk.
Your grace has given a precedent of wisdom above all princes in committing freely your scruple to the voice of Christendom. Who can be angry now? What envy reach you? The Spaniard tied by blood and favour to her must now confess, if they have any goodness, the trial just and noble. All the clerks, I mean the learned ones in Christian kingdoms, have their free voices. Rome, the nurse of judgment, invited by your noble self, has sent one general tongue unto us. This good man, this just and learned priest, Cardinal Campius, whom once more I present unto your highness.
Once more in mine arms I bid him welcome, and thank the holy conclave for the loves they have sent me. Such a man I would have wished for.
Your grace must needs deserve all strangers' loves. You are so noble. To your highness hand I tender my commission, by whose virtue the court of Rome commanding. You, my lord Cardinal of York, are joined with me their servant in the impartial judging of this business.
Two equal men. The queen shall be acquainted forthwith for what you come. Where's Gardiner?
I know your majesty has always loved her so dear in heart, not to deny her that a woman of less place might ask by law. Scholars allowed freely to argue for her.
Aye, and the best she shall have, and my favor to him that does best. God forbid else. Cardinal, prithee call Gardiner to me, my new secretary. I find him a fit fellow.
Enter Gardiner.
Give me your hand, and much joy and favor to you. You are the king's now.
But to be commanded forever by your grace, whose hand has raised me.
Come hither, Gardiner.
Walks and whispers.
My lord of York, was not one Dr. Pace in this man's place before him?
Yes, he was.
Was he not held a learned man?
Yes, surely.
Believe me, there's an ill opinion spread then even of yourself, Lord Cardinal.
How, of me?
They will not stick to say you envied him, and fearing he would rise, he was so virtuous, kept him a foreign man still, which so grieved him that he ran mad and died.
Heaven's peace be with him. That's Christian care enough. For living murmurers, there's places of rebuke. He was a fool, for he would needs be virtuous. That good fellow, if I commanded him, follows my appointment. I will have none so near else. Learn this, brother, we live not to be gripped by meaner persons.
Deliver this with modesty to the queen.
Exit Gardiner.
The most convenient place that I can think of for such receipt of learning is Blackfriars. There ye shall meet about what is weighty business. My Wolsey, see it furnished. Oh, my lord, would it not grieve an able man to leave so what a bedfellow? But conscience, oh, 'tis a tender place, and I must leave her.
Not
Act 2, Scene 3. Enter Anne Boleyn and an old lady.
Not for that neither. Here's the pang that pinches his highness, having lived so long with her, and she so good a lady, that no tongue could ever pronounce dishonor of her. By my life, she never knew harm doing. Oh, now, after so many courses of the sun enthroned, still growing in a majesty and pomp, the which to leave 1,000-fold more bitter than 'tis sweet at first to acquire. After this process, to give her the avant, it is a pity would move a monster.
Hearts of most hard temper melt and lament for her.
Oh, God's will, much better she ne'er had known pomp, though it be temporal. Yet if that quarrel, fortune do divorce it from the bearer, 'tis a sufferance, panging, as soul and body severing.
Alas, poor lady, she's a stranger now again.
So much the more must pity drop upon her. Verily, I swear, 'tis better to be lowly born and range with humble lives in content than to be perked up in a glistening grief and wear a golden sorrow.
Our content is our best having.
By my troth and maidenhead, I would not be a queen.
Beshrew me, I would, and venture maidenhead for it. And so would you, for all the spice of your hypocrisy. You that have so fair parts of woman on you have too of woman's heart, which ever yet affected eminence, wealth, sovereignty, which, to say sooth, are blessings, and which gifts, saving your mincing, the capacity of your soft cheveril conscience would receive, if you might please to stretch it.
Nay, good troth.
Yes, troth and troth. You would not be a queen.
No, not for all the riches under heaven.
'Tis strange, a 3d pound would hire me, old as I am, to queen it. But I pray you, what think you of a duchess? Have you limbs to bear that load of title?
No, in truth.
Then you are weakly made. Pluck off a little. I would not be a young count in your way for more than blushing comes to. If your back cannot vouchsafe this burden, 'tis too weak ever to get a boy.
How you do talk. I swear again, I would not be a queen for all the world.
In faith, for little England you venture an emballing. I myself would for Carnarvonshire, although there long no more to the crown but that. Lo, who comes here?
Enter
the
the
Lord.
Lord Chamberlain. Sorry.
Good morrow, ladies. What were worth to know the secret of your conference?
My good lord, not your demand. It values not your asking. Our mistress' sorrows we were pitying.
It were a gentle business and becoming the action of good women. There's hope all will be well.
Now I pray God, amen.
You bear a gentle mind, and heavenly blessings follow such creatures, that you may, fair lady, perceive I speak sincerely, and high notes ta'en of your many virtues. The king's majesty commends his good opinion of you, to you, and does purpose honor to you no less flowing than Marchioness of Pembroke, to which title 1,000 pounds a year annual support out of his grace he adds.
Do not know what kind of my obedience I should tender. More than my all is nothing, nor my prayers are not words duly hallowed, nor my wishes more worth than empty vanities. Yet prayers and wishes are all I can return. Beseech your lordship, vouchsafe to speak my thanks and my obedience as from a blushing handmaid to his highness, whose health and royalty I pray for.
Lady, I shall not fail to approve the fair conceit the king hath of you. I have perused her well. Beauty and honor in her are so mingled that they have caught the king. And who knows yet but from this lady may proceed a gem to lighten all this isle. I'll to the king and say I spoke with you.
Exit Lord Chamberlain.
My honored lord.
Why, this it is. See, I have been begging 16 years in court, and yet a courtier beggarly, nor could compact betwixt too early and too late for any suit of pounds. And you, oh fate, a very fresh fish here. Fie upon this compelled fortune. Have your mouth filled up before you open it.
This is strange to me.
How tastes it? Is it bitter? 40 pence, no. There was a lady once, 'tis an old story, that would not be a queen. That would she not for all the mud in Egypt. Have you heard it?
Come, you are pleasant.
With your theme, I could o'ermount the lark. The Marchioness of Pembroke. 1,000 pounds a year for pure respect. No other obligation. By my life, that promises more thousands. Honor's train is longer than his foreskirt. By this time, I know your back will bear a duchess. Say, are you not stronger than you were?
Good lady, make yourself mirth with your particular fancy and leave me out in it. Would I had no being if this salute my blood a jot. It faints me to think what follows. The queen is comfortless and we forgetful in our long absence. Pray do not deliver what here ye have heard to her.
What do you think of me?
Exeunt. Scene quarta. Trumpets, senate, and coronets. Enter 2 vergers with short silver wands, next to them 2 scribes in the habit of doctors, after them the Bishop of Canterbury alone, after him the bishops of Lincoln, Ely, Rochester, and St. Asaph. Next to them and some small distance follows a gentleman bearing the purse with the great seal and a cardinal's hat, then 2 priests, each bearing a silver cross, then a gentleman usher bareheaded, accompanied with a sergeant-at-arms bearing a silver mace, then 2 gentlemen bearing 2 great silver pillars, after them side by side the 2 cardinals, 2 noblemen with the sword and mace. The king takes place under the cloth of state, the 2 cardinals sit under him as judges, the queen takes place some distance from the king, the bishops place themselves on each side of the court in manner of a consistory. Below them be scribes. The Lord sits next to the bishops. The rest of the attendants stand in convenient order about the stage.
Whilst our commission from Rome is read, let silence be commanded.
What does it need? It has already publicly been read, and on all sides the authority allowed. You may then spare that time.
Be it so. Proceed.
Say, Henry, King of England, come into the court.
Henry, King of England.
Here.
Say, Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Catherine, Queen of England.
The queen makes no answer, rises out of her chair, goes about the court, comes to the king and kneels at his feet, then speaks.
Sir, I desire you do me right and justice, and to bestow your pity on me. For I am a poor woman and a stranger, born out of your dominions, having here no judge indifferent, nor no more assurance of equal friendship in proceeding. Alas, sir, in what have I offended you? What cause hath my behavior given to your displeasure, that thus you should proceed to put me off and take your good grace from me? Heaven witness, I have been to you a true and humble wife, at all times to your will conformable, ever in fear to kindle your dislike, yea, subject to your countenance, glad or sorry as I saw it incline. When was the hour I ever contradicted your desire or made it not mine too? Or which of your friends have I not strove to love, although I knew he were mine enemy? What friend of mine that had to him derived your anger did I continue in my liking? Nay, gave notice he was from thence discharged. Sir, call to mind that I have been your wife in this obedience upward of 20 years, and have been blessed with many children by you. If in the course and process of this time you can report and prove it too against mine honor, aught, my bond to wedlock, or my love and duty against your sacred person in God's name, turn me away, and let the foulest contempt shall throw upon me, and so give me up to the sharpest knife, sharpest kind of justice. Please you, sir, your king, your father, was reputed for a prince most prudent, of an excellent and unmatched wit and judgment. Ferdinand, my father, king of Spain, was reckoned one the wisest prince that there had reigned by many a year before. It is not to be questioned that they had gathered a wise council to them of every realm that did debate this business, who deemed our marriage lawful. Wherefore I humbly beseech you, sir, to spare me, till I may be by my friends in Spain advised, whose counsel I will implore. If not, in the name of God, your pleasure be fulfilled.
You have here, lady, and of your choice, these reverend fathers, men of singular integrity and learning, yea, the elect of the land, who are assembled to plead your cause. It shall be therefore bootless that longer you desire the court, as well for your own quiet as to rectify what is unsettled in the king.
Lord Cotton, to you I speak.
His Grace hath spoken well and justly. Therefore, madam, it's fit this royal session to proceed, and that without delay their arguments be now produced and heard.
Sir, I am about to weep, but thinking that we are queen no longer have dreamed so, certain the daughter of a king, my drops of tears I'll turn to sparks of fire.
Be patient yet.
I will when you are humble, nay, before God will punish me. I do believe, induced by potent circumstances, that you are mine enemy, and make my challenge, you shall not be my judge. For it is you have blown this coal betwixt my lord and me, which gods do quench. Therefore I say again, I utterly abhor, yea, for my very soul, refuse you for my church, whom yet once more I hold my most malicious foe, and think not at all a friend to truth.
I do profess, you speak not like yourself. Whoever yet has stood to charity and displayed the effects of disposition gentle and of wisdom, or topping woman's power? Madam, you do me wrong. I have no spleen against you, nor injustice for you or any. How far I have proceeded, or how far further shall, is warranted by a commission from the consistory, yea, the whole consistory of Rome. You charge me that I have blown this coal. I do deny it. The king is present. If it be known to him that I gainsay my deed, how may he wound and worley my falsehood, yea, as much as you have done my truth? If he know that I am free of your report, he knows I am not of your wrong. Therefore in him it lies to cure me, and the cure is to remove these thoughts from you, the which before his highness shall speak in, I do beseech you, gracious madam, to unthink your speaking, and to say so no more.
Oh, my lord, I am a simple woman, much too weak to oppose your cunning. Your meek and humble mouth, you sign your place and calling in full seeming with meekness and humility. But your heart is crammed with arrogance, spleen, and pride. You have by fortune and his highness's favors gone slightly over low steps, and now are mounted where powers are your retainers, and your words doom sticks to you. Serve your will as it please, yourself pronounce their office. I must tell you, you tender more your person's honor than your high profession spiritual. That again, I do refuse you for my judge, and here before you all, appeal unto the Pope to bring my whole cause for his holiness and to be judged by him.
She curtsies to the king and offers to depart.
The queen is obstinate, stubborn to justice, apt to accuse it, and disdainful to be tried by it. 'Tis not well. She's going away.
Call her again.
Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Madam,
What
you are
need
called
you-
back.
What need you noted? Pray you keep your way. When you are called, return. Now the Lord help, they vex me past my patience. Pray you pass on, I will not tarry, no, not evermore, upon this business my parents make in any of their courts.
Exit
thy-
queen and her attendants.
Go thy ways, Kate. That man of the world who shall report he has a better wife, let him not be trusted for speaking false in that. Thou art alone, if thy rare qualities, sweet gentleness, thy meekness, state-like, wife-like government, obeying and commanding, and thy parts, sovereign and pious, else could speak thee out. The queen of earthly queens, she's the noble born, and like her true nobility, she has carried herself towards me.
Most gracious sir, in humblest manner, I require your highness that it shall please you to declare in hearing of all these ears, for where I am robbed and bound, there must I be unloosed, although not there at once and fully satisfied, whether ever I did broach this business to your highness, or laid any scruple in your way, which might induce you to the question on't, or ever have to you, but with thanks to God for such a royal lady, spake one, the least word that might be to the prejudice of her present state, or touch her good person.
My Lord Cardinal, I do excuse you, yea, upon my honor, I free you from it. You are not to be taught that you have many enemies that know not why they are so, but like village curs, barks when their fellows do. By some of these, the queen is put in anger. You are excused, but will you be more justified? You ever have wished the sleeping of this business, never desired to be stirred, but oft have hindered, oft the passages made toward it. On my honor, I speak, my good Lord Cardinal, to this point, and thus far clear him. Now, what moved me to it? I will be bold with time and your attention, then mark the inducement. This it came. Give heed to it. My conscience first received a tenderness, scruple, and prick on certain speeches uttered by the Bishop of Bayonne and the French ambassador, who had been hither sent on the debating of marriage twixt the Duke of Orleans and the daughter and our daughter Mary. In the progress of this business, ere a determinate resolution, he, I mean the bishop, did require a respect, wherein I might, the king his lord, advertise whether our daughter were legitimate, respecting this our marriage with the dowager, sometimes our brother's wife. This respite shook the bosom of my conscience, entered me, yea, with a spitting power, and made it tremble the region of my breast, which forced such way that many mazed considerings did throng and pressed in with his caution. First, he thought I stood not in the smile of heaven, who had commanded nature that my lady's womb, if it conceived a male child by me, should do no more offices of life to it. Then the grave does to the dead for her male issue, or did where they were made, or shortly after the world had aired them. Hence I took a thought that was a judgment on me, that my kingdom, well worth thy best heir of the world, should not be gladdened in it by me. Then, fellows, that I weighed the danger for which my realms stood in by this my issues fail, and that gave to me many a groaning flow. Thus hauling the wild sea of my conscience, I did steer toward this remedy, whereupon we are now present here together. That's to say, I meant to rectify my conscience, which I then did feel full sick, and yet not well, by all the reverend fathers of the land and doctors learned. First I began in private. With you, my lord of Lincoln, you remember how under my oppression I did reek when I first moved you.
Very well, my liege.
I have spoke long, and be pleased yourself to say how far you satisfied me.
So please your highness.
Mm.
The question did at first so stagger me, bearing a state of mighty moment in it, and consequence of dread, that I committed the daringest counsel which I had to doubt, and did entreat your highness to this course which you are running here.
I then moved you, my lord of Canterbury, and got your leave to make this present summons unsolicited. I left no reverend person to this court, but by particular consent proceeded under my hands and seals. Therefore, go on, for no dislike of the world against the person of the good queen, but the sharp thorny points of my alleged reasons drives this forward. Prove but our marriage lawful. By my life and kingly dignity, we are contented to wear all our mortal states to come with her, Catherine, our queen, before the primest creature that's paragoned of the world.
So please your highness, the queen being absent, is a needful fitness that we adjourn this court till further day. Meanwhile, must be an earnest motion made to the queen to call back her appeal she intends unto his holiness.
I may perceive these cardinals trifle with me. I abhor this dilatory sloth, the tricks of Rome. My learned and well-beloved servant Cranmer, prithee return with thy approach. I know my comfort comes along. Break up the court. I say, sit on.
Exeunt in manner as they entered. Actus tertius scena prima. Enter the queen and her women as at work.
Take thy lute, wench. My soul grows sad with troubles. Sing and disperse them if thou canst. Leave working.
Orpheus with his lute made trees, and the mountain tops that freeze bow themselves when he did sing. To his music, plants and flowers ever sprung, as sun and showers there had made a lasting spring. Everything that heard him play, even the billows of the sea, hung their heads and then lay by. In sweet music is such art, giving and grief of heart. Fall asleep or hearing die.
Enter a gentleman.
How now?
And it please your grace, the two great cardinals wait in the presence.
Would they speak with me?
They willed me say so, madam.
Pray their graces to come near. What can be their business with me, a poor weak woman, fallen from favor? I do not like their coming. Now I think on it. They should be good men, their affairs is righteous, but all hoods make not monks.
Enter the two cardinals, Wolsey and Campion.
Peace to your highness.
Your graces find me here part of a housewife. I would be all against the worst may happen. What are your pleasures with me, reverend lords?
May it please you, noble madam, to withdraw into your private chamber. We shall give you the full cause of our coming.
Speak it here. There's nothing I have done yet on my conscience deserves a corner. Would all other women could speak this with as free a soul as I do. My lords, I care not as much as am happy above the number. If my actions were tried by every tongue, every eye saw them, envy, and base opinion set against them. I know my life so even. If your business seek me out, and that way I am wife, and out with it boldly. Truth loves open dealing.
Canta est erga te mentis integritas regina serenissima.
Oh, good my lord, no Latin. I am not such a truant since my coming as not to know the language I have lived in. A strange tongue makes my cause more strange, suspicious. Pray speak in English. Here are some will thank you if you speak truth for their poor mistress's sake. Believe me, she has had much wrong, Lord Cardinal. The willingest sin I have ever committed may be absolved in English.
Noble lady, I am sorry my integrity should breed and service to his majesty in you so deep suspicion where all faith was meant. I come not by way of accusation to taint that honor every good tongue blesses, nor to betray you in any way to sorrow. You have too much good, lady, but to know how you stand minded in the weighty difference between the king and you, and to deliver, like free and honest men, our just opinions and comforts to our cause.
Most honored madam, my lord of York, out of his noble nature, zeal and obedience, he still bore your grace, forgetting, like a good man, your late censure, both of his truth and him, which was too far, offers, as I do, in a sign of peace, his service and his counsel.
To betray me? My lords, I thank you both for your good wills. You speak like honest men. Pray God you prove so. But how to make you suddenly an answer in such a poignant of weight, so near mine honor, more near my life, I fear, with my weak wit, and to such men of gravity and learning, in truth I know not. I was set at works among my maids, for little, God knows, looking either for such men or such business. For her sake that I have been, for I feel the last fit of my greatness. Good your graces, let me have time and counsel for my cause. Alas, I am a woman friendless, hopeless.
Madam, you wrong the king's love with these fears. Your hopes and friends are infinite.
In England, but little for my profit, can you think, lords, that any Englishman dare give me counsel or be a known friend against his highness's pleasure, though he be grown so desperate to be honest and live a subject. Nay, forsooth, my friends, they that must weigh out my afflictions, they that my trust must grow to live not here, they are as all my other comforts far hence in mine own country, lords.
I would your grace would leave your griefs and take my counsel.
How, sir?
Put your main cause into the king's protection. He's loving and most gracious, will be much both for your honor better and your cause. For if the trial of the law o'ertake you, you'll part away disgraced.
He tells you rightly.
You tell me what you wish for both, my ruin. Is this your Christian counsel? Out upon ye! Heaven is above all yet. There sits a judge that no king can corrupt.
Your rage mistakes us.
The more shame for ye. Holy men, I thought ye upon my soul two reverend cardinal virtues, but cardinal sins and hollow hearts I fear ye. Mend them for shame, my lords. Is this your comfort? The cordial that ye bring a wretched lady, a woman lost among ye, laughed at, scorned? I will not wish you half my miseries. I have more charity. But say I warned ye, take heed, for heaven's sake, take heed, lest at once the burden of my sorrows fall upon ye.
Madam, this is a mere distraction. You turn the good we offer into envy.
You turn me into nothing. Woe upon ye and all such false professors. Would you have me, if you have any justice, any pity, if you be anything but churchmen's habits, put my sick cause into his hands that hates me? Alas, he's banished me his bed already, his love too long ago. I am old, my lords, and all the fellowship I hold now with him is only my obedience. What can happen to me above this wretchedness? All your studies make me a curse like this.
Your fears are worse.
Have I lived thus long, let me speak myself, since virtue finds no friends, a wife, a true one, a woman, I dare say without vainglory, never yet branded with suspicion, have I with all my full affections still met the king, loved him next to heaven, obeyed him, been out of fondness superstitious to him, almost forgot my prayers to content him, and am I thus rewarded? 'Tis not well, lords. Bring me a constant woman to her husband, one that ne'er dreamed a joy beyond his pleasure. And to that woman, when she has done most, yet will I add an honor, a great patience.
Madam, you wander from the good we aim at.
My lord, I dare not make myself so guilty to give up willingly that noble title your master wed me to. Nothing but death shall e'er divorce my dignities.
Pray hear me.
Oh, would I'd never trod this English earth or felt the flatteries that grow upon it. Ye have angels' faces, but heaven knows your hearts. What will become of me now, wretched lady? I am the most unhappy woman living. Alas, poor wenches, where are now your fortunes? Shipwrecked upon a kingdom where no pity, no friends, no hope, no kindred weep for me. Almost no grave allowed for me, like the lily that once was mistress of the field and flourished. I'll hang my head and perish.
If your grace could but be brought to know our ends are honest, you'd feel more comfort. Why should we, good lady, upon what cause wrong you? Alas, our places, the way of our profession is against it. We are to cure such sorrows, not to sow them. For goodness sake, consider what you do, how you may hurt yourself. I utterly grow from the king's acquaintance by this carriage. The hearts of princes kiss obedience, so much they love it. But to stubborn spirits they swell and grow as terrible as storms. I know you have a gentle, noble temper, a soul as even as a calm. Pray think us, those we profess, peacemakers, friends, and servants.
Madam, you'll find it so. You wrong your virtues with these weak woman fears. A noble spirit, as yours was put into you, ever casts such doubts as false coin from it. The king loves you. Beware you loose it not. For us, if you please to trust us in your business, we are ready to use our utmost studies in your service.
Oh, do what ye will, my lords, and pray forgive me if I have used myself unmannerly. You know I am a woman, lacking wit to make a seemly answer to such persons. Pray do my service to his majesty. He has my heart yet and shall have my prayers, while I shall have my life. Come, reverend fathers, bestow your counsels on me. She now begs that little thought when she set footing here, she should have brought her dignity so dear.
Exeunt. Scena Secunda. Enter the Duke of Norfolk, Duke of Suffolk, Lord Surrey, and Lord Chamberlain.
If you will now unite in your complaints, force them with the cardinal cannot stand under them. If you omit the offer of this time, cannot, but that you shall sustain mony disgraces with these you bear already.
I am I am joyful to meet the least occasion that may give me remembrance of my father-in-law, the Duke, to be revenged on him.
Which of
Which of the peers have uncondemned gone by him, or at least strangely neglected? When did he regard the stamp of nobleness in any person out of himself?
Lord
My
Chamberlain?
lords, you speak your pleasures. What he deserves of you and me, I know. What we can do to him, though now the time gives way to us, I much fear. If you cannot bar his access to the king, never attempt anything on him, for he hath a witchcraft over the king in his tongue.
Oh, fear him not. The spell on that is out. The king hath found matter against him, that forever mars the honey of his language. No, he's settled not to come off in his displeasure.
Sir, I should be glad to hear such news as this once every hour.
Believe it, this is true. In the divorce, his contrary proceedings are all unfolded, wherein he appears as I will wish mine enemy.
How came his practices to light? Most strangely. Oh, how? How? The cardinal's letters to the Pope miscarried and came to the eye of the king, wherein was read how that the cardinal did entreat his holiness to stay the judgment of the divorce. For if it did take place, I do, quoth he, perceive my king is tangled in affection to a creature of the queen's, Lady Anne Boleyn. Has the king this? Believe it. Will this work?
The king in this perceives him how he coasts and hedges his own way. But in this point all his tricks founder, and he brings his physic after his patient's death. The king already hath married the fair lady.
Would he had. May you be happy in your wish, my lord, for I profess you have it. Now all my joy trace the conjunction. My amen too.
All men.
There's order given for her coronation. Mary, this is yet but young, and may be left to some ears unrecounted. But my lord, she is a gallant creature, and complete in mind and feature. I persuade me from her will fall some blessing to this land, which shall in it be memorized. But will the king digest this letter of the cardinal's? The Lord forbid.
Very, amen.
No, no. There be mo wasps that buzz about his nose will make this sting the sooner. Cardinal Campius is stolen away to Rome, hath ta'en no leave, has left the cause of the king unhandled, and is posted as the agent of our cardinal to second all his plot. I do assure you the king cried hey at this.
Now God incense him, and let him cry ha louder.
But my lord, when returns Cranmer?
He is returned in his opinions, which have satisfied the king for his divorce, together with all famous colleges almost in Christendom. Shortly, I believe, his second marriage shall be published, and her coronation. Catherine no more shall be called queen, but Princess Dowager, and widow to Prince Arthur.
Dame Cranmer is a worthy fellow, and hath ta'en much pain in the king's business.
Ah, he has, and we shall see him for it, an archbishop.
So I hear.
'Tis so.
Enter Wolsey and Cromwell. The cardinal.
Observe, he's moody.
The packets Cromwell gave to the king.
To his own hand, in his bedchamber.
Looked he o' the inside of the paper?
Presently he did unseal them, and the first he viewed, he did it with a serious mind. A heed was in his countenance. You he bade attend him here this morning.
Is he ready to come abroad?
I think by this he is.
Leave me a while.
Exit Cromwell.
It shall be to the Duchess of Alençon, the French king's sister. He shall marry her. Anne Boleyn? No, I'll know Anne Boleyn for him. There's more in't than fair visage. Boleyn? No, we'll know Bullen's. Speedily I wish to hear from Rome. The Marchioness of Pembroke?
He's discontented.
Maybe he hears the king does whet his anger to him. Sharp enough, Lord, for thy justice.
The late queen's gentlewoman? A knight's daughter? To be her mistress, the queen's queen? Oh, this candle burns not clear. 'Tis I must snuff it, then out it goes. What though I know her virtuous and well-deserving, yet I know her for a spleeny Lutheran, and not wholesome to our cause. that she should lie in the bosom of her hard-ruled king. Again, there is sprung up an heretic, an arch one, one hath crawled into the favor of the king and is his oracle.
He is vexed at something.
I would for something would fret the string the master chords on's heart. The king, the king.
What piles of wealth hath he accumulated to own his portion, and that he and what expends by the hour seems to flow from him? How in the name of thrift does he rake this together? Now, my lords, saw you the cardinal?
My lord, we have stood here observing him. Some strange commotion is in his brain. He bites his lip and starts, stops on a sudden, looks upon the ground, then lays his finger on his temple. Straight springs out into fast gait and stops again, strikes his breast hard, and anon he casts his eye against the moon. In most strange postures we have seen him set himself.
It may well be. This is a mutiny in his mind. The morning papers of state he sent me to peruse, and as I required, and what I found there. On my conscience put unwittingly, forsooth, an inventory, thus importing the several parcels of his plate, his treasure, rich stuffs, and ornaments of household, which I find at such proud rate that it outspeaks possession of a subject.
It's heaven's will. Some spirit put this paper in the packet to bless your eye withal.
If we did think his contemplation were above the earth and fixed on spiritual object, he would still dwell in his musings, and I am afraid his thinkings are below the moon, and not worth his serious considering.
King takes his seat, whispers Lovell, who goes to the cardinal.
Heaven forgive me. Every God bless your highness.
Good, my lord. You are full of heavenly stuff, and bear the inventory of your best graces in your mind, the which you were now running o'er. You have scarce time to steal from spiritual leisure, a brief span to keep your earthly audit. Sir, in that I deem you an ill husband, and am glad to have you therein my companion.
Sir, for holy offices I have a time to think upon the part of business which I bear in the state, and nature does require her times of preservation, which perforce I hear I, her frail son, amongst my brethren mortal, must give my tendance to.
You have said well.
And ever may your highness yoke together, as I will lend you cause, my doing well with my well saying.
And 'tis well said again, and 'tis a kind of good deed to say you well, and yet words are no deeds. My father loved you, he said he did, and with his deed did crown his word upon you. Since I had my office, I have kept you next to my heart, and not alone employed you where high profits might come home, and pared my present havings to bestow my bounties upon you.
What should this mean?
The Lord increase this business.
May I not, have I not made you the prime man of the state? I pray you tell me if what I now pronounce you have found true, and if you may confess it, say withal if you are bound to us or no. What say you?
My sovereign, I confess your royal graces showered on me daily have been more than could my studied purposes requite, which went beyond all man's endeavours. My endeavours have ever come too short of my desires, yet filled with my abilities. Mine own ends have been mine, so that evermore they pointed to the good of your most sacred person and the profit of the state. For your great graces heaped upon me, poor undeserver, I can nothing render but allegiant thanks. My prayers to heaven for you. My loyalty, which ever has and ever shall be growing, till death that winter kill it.
Fairly answered. A loyal and obedient subject is therein illustrated. The honor of it does pay the act of it, as in the contrary, the foulness of this is the punishment. I presume that as my hand has opened bounty to you, my heart dropped love. My power rained honor more on you than any. So your hand and heart, your brain, and every function of your power should, notwithstanding that your bond of duty, as 'twere in love's particular, be more to me, your friend, than any.
I do profess that your highness could. I ever labored more than mine own. That am, have, and will be, through all the world should crack their duty to you and throw it from their soul, though perils did abound as thick as thought could make them, and appear in forms more horrid, yet my duty as doth a rock against the chiding flood, should the approach of this wild river break and stand unshaken yours.
'Tis nobly spoken. Take notice, lords, he has a loyal breast, for you have seen him open it. Read o'er this, and after this, and then to breakfast with what appetite you have.
Exit king, frowning upon the cardinals. The nobles throng after him, smiling and whispering.
What should this mean? What sudden anger's this? How have I reaped it? He parted frowning from me, as if ruin leaped from his eyes. So looks the chafed lion upon the daring huntsman that has galled him, then makes him nothing. I must read this paper. I fear the story of his anger. 'Tis so. This paper has undone me. 'Tis the compt of all that world of wealth I have drawn together for mine own ends, indeed to gain the popedom and my fee my friends in Rome. Oh, negligence, fit for a fool to fall by. What cross devil made me put this main secret in the packet I sent the king? Is there no way to cure this? No new device to beat him from his brains? I know 'twill still him strongly, yet I know a way, if it take right to spite of fortune, will bring me off again. What's this? To the Pope? The letter, as I live, with all the business I writ to's holiness. Nay then, farewell. I have touched the highest point of all my greatness, and from that full meridian of my glory I haste now to my setting. I shall fall like a bright exhalation in the evening, and no man see me more.
Enter to Wolsey the Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk, the Earl of Surrey, and the Lord Chamberlain.
Hear the king's pleasure, Cardinal, who commands you to render up the Great Seal presently into our hands, and to confine yourself to Asher House, my Lord of Winchester's, till you hear further from his highness.
Stay, where's your commission? Lords, words cannot carry authority so weighty.
Who dare cross him, bearing the king's will from his mouth expressly?
Till I find more than will or words to do it, I mean your malice, no, officious lords, I dare and must deny it. Now I feel of what coarse metal you are moulded. Envy, how eager you follow my disgraces, as if it fed you, and how sleek and wanton you appear in everything may bring about my ruin. Follow your envious courses, men of malice. You have Christian warrant for them, and no doubt in time will find their fit rewards. That seal you ask with such a violence, the king, mine, and your master, with his own hand gave me, bade me enjoy it, with the place and honours during my life, and to confirm his goodness, tied but it by letters patents. Now who'll take it?
The king that gave it.
It must be himself then.
Thou art a proud traitor, priest.
Proud lord, thou liest. Within these 40 hours, Surrey does better have burnt that tongue than said so.
The ambition, thou scarlet sin, robbed this bewailing land of noble Buckingham, my father-in-law, the heads of all thy brother cardinals, with thee and all thy best parts bound together, weighed not a hair of his. Plague of your policy, you sent me deputy for Ireland, far from his succor, from the king, from all that might have mercy on the fault thou gavest him, whilst your great goodness, out of holy pity, absolved him with an axe.
This and all else this talking lord can lay upon my credit, I answer, is most false. The Duke by law found his deserts. How innocent I was from any private malice in his end, his noble jury and foul cause can witness. If I loved many words, Lord, I should tell you, you have as little honesty as honor, that in the way of loyalty and truth towards the king, my ever royal master, dare mate a sounder man than Surrey can be, and all that love his follies.
By my soul, your long coat, priest, protects you. Thou shouldst feel my sword and life-blood of thee else. My lords, can ye endure to hear this arrogance? And from this fellow, if we live thus tamely, to be thus jaded by a piece of scarlet, farewell nobility. Let his grace go forward and dare us with his cap like larks.
All goodness is poison to thy stomach.
Yes, that goodness of gleaning all the land's wealth into one, into your own hands, Cardinal, by extortion. The goodness of your intercepted packets you writ to the Pope against the king, your goodness, since you provoke me, shall be most notorious. My Lord Norfolk, as you are truly noble, as you respect the common good, the state of our despised nobility, our issues, who, if he live, will scarce be gentlemen, produce the grand sum of his sins, the articles collected from this life. I'll startle you, worse than the sacring bell, when the brown wench lay kissing in your arms, Lord Cardinal.
How much methinks I could despise this man, but that I am bound in charity against it.
Those articles, my lord, are in the king's hand, but thus much their foul one.
So much fairer and spotless shall mine innocence arise when the king knows my truth.
This cannot save you. I thank my memory, I yet remember some of these articles, and out they shall. Now, if you blush and cry guilty, Cardinal, you'll show a little honesty.
Speak on, sir. I dare your worst objections. If I blush, it is to see a nobleman want manners.
I had rather want those than my head. Have at you. First, that without the king's assent or knowledge, you wrought to be a league, by which power you maimed the jurisdiction of all bishops.
Then that all you writ to Rome or else to foreign princes, Ego and Rexmius was still inscribed, in which you brought the king to be your servant.
Then, that without the knowledge either of king or council, when you went ambassador to the emperor, you made bold to carry into Flanders the Great Seal. Item, you sent a large commission to Gregory de Cassido to conclude without the king's will or the state's allowance a league between his highness and Ferrara. That out of mere ambition you have caused your holy hat to be stamped on the king's coin. Then that you have sent innumerable substance, by what means got, I leave to your own conscience, to furnish Rome and to prepare the ways you have for dignities, to the mere undoing of all the kingdom. Many more there are, which since they are of you and odious, I will not taint my mouth with.
Oh, my lord, press not a falling man too far. 'Tis virtue, his faults lie open to the laws. Let them not you correct him. My heart weeps to see him so little of his great self.
I forgive him. Lord Cardinal, the king's further pleasure is, because all those things you have done of late by your power legatine within this kingdom fall into the compass of a premier, that therefore such a writ be sued against you to forfeit all your goods, lands, tenements, castles, and whatsoever, and to be out of the king's protection. This is my charge.
And so we'll leave you to your meditations how to live better. For your stubborn answer about the giving back the great seal to us, the king shall know it, and no doubt shall thank you. So fare you well, my little good Lord Cardinal.
Exeunt all but Wolsey.
So farewell to the little good you bear me. Farewell. A long farewell to all my greatness. This is the state of man. Today he puts forth the tender leaves of hope, tomorrow blossoms and bears his blushing honours thick upon him. The third day comes a frost, a killing frost, and when he thinks, good easy man, full surely his greatness is a ripening, nips his root, and then he falls as I do. I have ventured like little Walton boys that swim on bladders this many summers in a sea of glory, but far beyond my depth, my high-blown pride at length broke under me, and now has left me weary and old with service to the mercy of a rude stream that must forever hide me. Vain pomp and glory of this world, I hate ye. I feel my heart new opened. Oh, how wretched is that poor man that hangs on princes' favours. There is betwixt that smile we would aspire to, that sweet aspect of princes, and their ruin, more pangs and fears than wars or women have. And when he falls like Lucifer, never to hope again.
Enter Cromwell, standing amazed.
Why, Anna Cromwell?
I have no power to speak, sir.
What? Amazed at my misfortunes? Can thy spirit wonder a great man should decline? Nay, and you weep. I am fallen indeed.
How does your grace?
Why, well, never so truly happy, my good Cromwell. I know myself now, and I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. King has cured me. I humbly thank his grace, and from these shoulders, these ruined pillars, out of pity, taken a load would sink a navy. Too much honour. Oh, 'tis a burden, Cromwell, 'tis a burden too heavy for a man that hopes for heaven.
I am glad your grace has made the right use of it.
I hope I have. I am able now, methinks, out of a fortitude of soul, I feel, to endure more miseries and greater far than my weak-hearted enemies dare offer. What news abroad?
Of the heaviest and the worst is your displeasure with the king.
Oh, God bless him.
The next is that Sir Thomas More is chosen Lord Chancellor in your place.
Well, that's somewhat sudden. Oh, but he's a learned man. May he continue long in his highness' favour and do justice for truth's sake and his conscience, that his bones, when he has run his course and sleeps in blessings, may have a team of orphans' tears wept on him. What more?
That Cranmer is returned with welcome, installed Lord Archbishop of Canterbury.
That's news indeed.
Last, that the Lady Anne, whom the king hath in secrecy long married, this day was viewed in open as his queen going to chapel, and the voice is now only about her coronation.
There was the weight that pulled me down. Oh, Cromwell, the king has gone beyond me. All my glory is in that one woman I have lost forever. No sun shall ever usher forth mine honours, or gild again the noble troops that waited upon my smiles. Go get thee from me, Cromwell. I am a poor fallen man, unworthy now to be thy lord and master. Seek the king. That sun, I pray, may never set. I have told him what and how true thou art. He will advance these. Some little memory of me will stir him. I know his noble nature, not to let thy hopeful service perish too. Good Cromwell, neglect him not. Make use now and provide for thine own future safety.
Oh, my lord, must I then leave you? Must I needs forego so good, so noble, and so true a master? Bear witness, all that have not hearts of iron, with what a sorrow Cromwell leaves his lord. The king shall have my service, but my prayers forever and forever shall be yours.
Ah, Cromwell, I did not think to shed a tear in all my miseries, but thou hast forced me out of thy honest truth to play the woman. Let's dry our eyes, and thus far hear me, Cromwell. And when I am forgotten, as I shall be, and sleep in dull, cold marble, where no mention of me must be heard of, say I taught thee. Say, Wolsey, that once trod the ways of glory and sounded all the depths and shoals of honour, found thee a way out of his wreck to rise in, a sure and safe one, though thy master missed it. Mark but my fall, and that ruined me. Cromwell, I charge thee, fling away ambition. By that sin fell the angels. How can man then, the image of his maker, hope to win by it? Love thyself last. Cherish those hearts that hate thee. Corruption wins not more than honesty. Still in thine hand carry gentle peace to silence envious tongues. Be just and fear not. Let all the ends thou aimst at be thy countries, thy gods, and truths. Then if thou fall'st, O Cromwell, thou fall'st a blessed martyr. Serve the king, and prithee lead me in. There take an inventory of all I have, to the last penny, 'tis the king's. My robe and my integrity to heaven is all I dare now call mine own. Oh, Cromwell, Cromwell, had I but served my God with half the zeal I served my king, he would not in mine age have left me naked to mine enemies.
Good sir, have patience.
So I have. Farewell. The hopes of court, my hopes in heaven do dwell.
Exeunt. Actus quartus, scena prima. Enter two gentlemen meeting one another.
You're well met once again.
So are you.
You come to take your stand here, and behold, the Lady Anne passed from her coronation.
'Tis all my business. At our last encounter, the Duke of Buckingham came from his trial.
'Tis very true, but that time offered sorrow, this general joy.
'Tis well. The citizens, I am sure, have shown at full their royal minds, as let them have their rights. They are ever forward in celebration of this day with shows, pageants, and sights of honor.
Oh, never greater. No, I'll assure you, better taken, sir.
May I be bold to ask what contains that paper in your hand?
Oh, yes, 'tis the list of those that claim their offices this day by custom of the coronation. The Duke of Suffolk is the first and claims to be High Steward. Next, the Duke of Norfolk, he to be Earl Marshal. You may read the rest. I thank you, sir. Had I not known those customs, I should have been beholden to your paper. But that's your line. It's a mistake there. You're number 2. I'm 1. So I say, I thank you, sir. You say, I thank you, sir.
I thank
Okay, you may read the rest.
I thank you, sir. Had I not known those customs, I should have been beholding to your paper. But I beseech you, what's become of Catherine, the Princess Dowager? How goes her business?
Oh, that I can tell you too. The Archbishop of Canterbury, accompanied with other learned and reverend fathers of his order, held a high court at Dunstable, 6 miles off from Amphill, where the princess lay, to which she was often cited by them, but appeared not, and to be short, for not appearance, and the king's late scruple, by the main assent of all these learned men, she was divorced. And the late marriage made of none effect, since which she was removed to Caermalton, where she remains now sick.
Alas, good lady, the trumpets sound, stand close. The queen is coming.
Oh, boys, the order of the coronation. 1, a lively flourish of trumpets. 2, then 2 judges. 3, Lord Chancellor with purse and mace before him. 4, choristers singing, music. 5, Mayor of London bearing the mace, then garter in his coat of arms, and on his head he wore a gilt copper crown. 6, Marquis of Dorset, bearing a sceptre of gold on his head, a demi-coronal of gold, with him the Earl of Surrey bearing the rod of silver, with the dove crowned with an eagle's coronet, collar of S's. 7, Duke of Suffolk in his robe of estate, his coronet on his head, bearing a long white wand, as high steward, with him the Duke of Norfolk, with the rod of marshalship, a coronet on his head, collar of S's. 8, a canopy borne by the 4 syncoports, under it the queen in her robe, her hair richly adorned with pearl, crowned on each side of her the bishops of London and Winchester. 9, the old Duchess of Norfolk, in a coronal of gold wrought with flowers, bearing a queen's train. 10, certain ladies or countesses with plain circlets of gold without flowers, exeunt, first passing over the stage in order and state, and then a great flourish of trumpets.
Oh, a royal train, believe me. These I know. Who's that bears the scepter?
Marquis Dorset, and that the Earl of Surrey, with the rod.
Oh, a bold, brave gentleman. That should be the Duke of Suffolk.
'Tis the same, high steward.
And that my Lord of Norfolk.
Yes.
Heaven bless thee. Thou hast the sweetest face I ever looked on. Sir, as I have a soul, she is an angel. Our king has all the Indies in his arms, and more and richer. When he strains that lady, I cannot blame his conscience.
They that bear the cloth of honor over her are 4 barons of the Cinque-Port.
Those men are happy, and so are all who are near her, I take it. She that carries up the train, is that old noble lady, Duchess of Norfolk?
It is, and all the rest are countesses.
Their coronets say so. These are stars indeed, and sometimes fallen ones.
No more of that.
Enter a 3rd gentleman.
Oh, God save you, sir. Where have you been broiling?
Among the crowd in the abbey, where a finger could not be wedged in more. I am stifled with mere rankness of their joy.
You saw the ceremony?
Ah, that I did.
How was it?
Oh, well worth the scene.
Good sir, speak it to us.
As well as I am able. The rich stream of lords and ladies, having brought the queen to a prepared place in the choir, fell off a distance from her, while her grace sat down to rest a while, some half an hour or so, in a rich chair of state, opposing freely the beauty of her person to the people. Believe me, sir, she is the goodliest woman that ever lay by man, which, when the people had the full view of, such a noise arose as the shrouds make at sea in a stiff tempest, as loud, and so many tunes, hats, cloaks, doublets, I think, flew up, and had their faces been loose this day, they had been lost. Such joy I never saw before. Great-bellied women that had not half a week to go, like rams in the old time of war, would shake the priests and make 'em reel before 'em. No man living could say, "This is my wife." There all were woven so strangely into one piece.
But what followed?
Well, at length her grace rose, and with modest paces came to the altar, where she kneeled, and saint-like cast her fair eyes to heaven, and prayed devoutly, then rose again and bowed her to the people, when, by the Archbishop of Canterbury, she had all the royal makings of a queen, as holy oil, Edward Confessor's crown, the rod and bird of peace, and all such emblems laid nobly on her, which performed the choir with all the choicest music of the kingdom together sung Te Deum. So she parted, and with that same full state paced back again to York Place, where the feast is held.
Sir, you must no more call it your place. That's past. For since the cardinal fell, that title's lost. 'Tis now the king's, and called Whitehall.
Ah, I know it, but 'tis so lately altered that the old name is fresh about me.
What two reverend bishops were those that went on each side of the queen?
Ah, Stokely and Gardiner, the one of Winchester, newly preferred from the king's secretary, the other of London.
He of Winchester is held no great good lover of the archbishops, the virtuous Cranmer.
All the land knows that. However, there is yet no great breach. When it comes, Cranmer will find a friend will not shrink from him.
Who may that be, I pray you?
Thomas Cromwell, a man in such much esteem with the king, and truly a worthy friend. The king has made him master of the jewel house, and one already of the Privy Council.
He will deserve more.
Yes, without all doubt. Come, gentlemen, ye shall go my way, which is to the court, and there ye shall be my guests. Something I can command. As I walk thither, I'll tell you more.
You may command us, sir.
Exeunt. Scena secunda. Enter Catherine the Dowager, sick, led between Griffith her gentleman, usher, and Patience her woman. How does your grace?
Oh, Griffith, sick to death. My legs, like loaden branches, bow to the earth, willing to leave their burden. Reach a chair. So now, methinks I feel a little ease. Didst thou not tell me, Griffith, as thou leadest me, that the great child of honor, Carton Wolsey, was dead?
Yes, madam, but I think your grace, out of the pain you suffered, gave no ear to it.
Oh, prithee, good Griffith, tell me how he died. If well, he slept before me happily for my example. He stepped before me happily for my example.
Well, the voice goes, madam, for after the stout Earl Northumberland arrested him at York and brought him forward as a man sorely attainted to his answer, he fell sick suddenly, and grew so ill he could not sit his mule.
Oh, alas, poor man.
At last, with easy roads, he came to Leicester, lodged in the abbey, where the reverend abbot, with all his convent, honorably received him, to whom he gave these words: O Father Abbot, an old man broken with the storms of state is come to lay his weary bones among ye. Give him a little earth for charity. So went to bed, where eagerly his sickness pursued him still, and 3 nights after this, about the hour of 8, which he himself foretold should be his last, full of repentance, continual meditations, tears, and sorrows, he gave his honours to the world again, his blessed part to heaven, and slept in peace.
So may he rest. These faults lie gently on him. Yet thus far, Griffith, give me leave to speak him, and yet with charity. He was a man of unbounded stomach, ever ranking himself with princes, one that by suggestion tired all the kingdom. Simony was fair play, his own opinion was his law. In the presence he would say untruths, and be he ever double both in his words and meaning. He was never but where he meant to ruin. Pitiful. His promises were as he then was, mighty, but his performance as he is now, nothing. Of his own body he was ill, and gave the clergy ill example.
Noble madam, men's evil manners live in brass, their virtues we write in water. May it please your highness to hear me speak his good now?
Yes, good Griffith, I were malicious else.
This cardinal, though from an humble stock, undoubtedly was fashioned to much honor. From his cradle he was a scholar, and a ripe and good one, exceeding wise, fair-spoken and persuaded, lofty and sour to them that loved him not, but to those men that sought him sweet as summer. And though he were unsatisfied in getting, which was a sin, yet in bestowing, madam, he was most princely. Ever witness for him those twins of learning that he raised in you, Ipswich and Oxford, one of which fell with him, unwilling to outlive the good that did it, the other, though unfinished, yet so famous, so excellent in art, and still so rising, that Christendom shall ever speak his virtue. His overthrow heaped happiness upon him, for then, and not till then, he felt himself, and found the blessedness of being little, and to add greater honors to his age than man could give him, he died, fearing God.
After my death, I wish no other herald, no other speaker of my living actions to keep mine honor from corruption. But such an honest chronicler as Griffith, whom I most hated living, thou hast made me with thy religious truth and modesty. Now in his ashes, honor. Peace be with him. Patience be near me still and set me lower. I have not long to trouble thee, good Griffith. Cause the musicians play me that sad note. I name my knell, whilst I sit meditating on that coal store harmony I go to, and that coal store harmony I go to.
Silent psalm music. She is asleep. Good wench, let's sit down quiet, for fear we wake her. Softly, gentle patience. Vision. Enter solemnly, tripping one after another, 6 personages clad in white robes, wearing on their heads garlands of bays and golden vizards on their faces, branches of bays or palm in their hands. They first come unto her, then dance, and at certain changes the first 2 hold a spare garland over her head, at which the other 4 make reverent curtsies. Then the 2 that held the garland did deliver the same to the next 2, who observed the same order in their charges, and holding the garland over her head, which done, they deliver the same garland to the last 2, and likewise observe the same order, at which, as if it were by inspiration, she makes in her sleep signs of rejoicing, and holdeth up her hands to heaven, and so in their dancing vanish, carrying the garlands with them. The music continues.
Oh, spirits of peace, where are you? Are you all gone, and leave me here in wretchedness behind ye?
Madam, we are here.
It is not you I call for. Saw you none enter since I slept?
None, madam.
No? Saw you not even now a blessed troop invite me to a banquet, whose bright faces cast 1,000 beams upon me like the sun? They promised me eternal happiness and brought me garlands. Griffith, which I feel I'm not worthy yet to wear, I shall assuredly.
I am most joyful, madam. Such good dreams possess your fancy.
Bid the music leave. They are harsh and heavy to me.
Music ceases.
Do you notice how much her grace is altered on the sudden? How long her face is drawn, how pale she looks, and of an earthy cold. Mark her eyes.
She is going, wench. Pray, pray.
Heaven comfort her.
Enter a messenger.
And like your grace,
You're a saucy fellow. Deserve we no more reverence?
You are to blame, knowing she will not lose her wonted greatness to use so rude behavior. Go to, kneel.
I humbly do entreat your highness pardon. My haste made me unmannerly. There is staying a gentleman sent from the king to see you.
Admit him entrance, Griffith, but this fellow let me ne'er see again.
Exit messenger. Enter Lord Capucius.
If my sight fail not, you should be Lord Ambassador from the Emperor, my royal nephew, and your name Capucius.
Madam, the same, your servant.
Oh, my lord, the times and titles now are altered strangely with me since first you knew me. But I pray you, what is your pleasure with me?
Noble lady, first mine own service to your grace, the next the king's request that I would visit you, who grieves much for your weakness, and by me sends you his princely commendations, and heartily entreat you take good comfort.
Oh, my good lord, that comfort comes too late. 'Tis like a pardon after execution. That gentle physic given in time had cured me, but now I am past all comfort here but prayers. How does his highness?
Madam, in good health.
So may he ever do and ever flourish, and I shall dwell with worms, and my poor name banish the kingdom. Patience, is that letter I caused you write yet sent away?
No, madam.
Sir, I most humbly pray you to deliver this to my lord the king,
Most willing, madam.
which I have commended to his goodness the model of our chaste loves, his young daughter. The dews of heaven fall thick and blessing on her, beseeching him to give her virtuous breeding. She is young and of a noble, modest nature. I hope she will deserve well and a little to love her for her mother's sake that loved him. Heaven knows how dearly. My next poor petition is that his noble grace would have some pity upon my wretched women that so long have followed both my fortunes faithfully, of which there is not one I dare avow. And now I shall not lie, but will deserve for virtue and true beauty of the soul, for honesty and decent carriage, a right good husband, let him be a noble, and sure those men are happy that shall have them. The last is for my men, they are the poorest, but poverty could never draw them from me, that they may have their wages duly paid them, and something over to remember me by. If heaven had pleased to have given me longer life and able means, we had not parted thus. These are the whole contents, and good my lord, by that you love the dearest in this world, as you wish Christian peace to souls departed. Stand these poor people, friend, and urge the king to do me this last night.
By heaven I will, or let me lose the fashion of a man.
I thank you, honest lord. Remember me in all humility, and to his highness say his long trouble now is passing out of this world. Tell him in death I blessed him, for so I will. My eyes grow dim. Farewell, my lord. Griffith, farewell. Nay, patience, you must not leave me yet. I must to bed. Call in more women. When I am dead, good wench, let me be used with honor. Strew me over with maiden flowers, that all the world may know I was a chaste wife to my grave. Embalm me, then lay me forth, although a queen, yet like a queen, and daughter to a king, inter me, I can no more.
Exeunt, leading Catherine. Actus quintus scena prima. Enter Gardiner, Bishop of Winchester, page with a torch before him, met by Sir Thomas Lovell.
It's 1 o'clock, boy, is it not?
It hath stroke.
These should be hours for necessities, not for delights. Times to repair our nature with comforting repose, and not for us to waste these times. Good hour of night, Sir Thomas, whether so late?
Came you from the king, my lord?
I did, Sir Thomas, and left him at Primero with the Duke of Suffolk.
I must to him too before he go to bed. I'll take my leave.
Not yet, Sir Thomas Lovell. What's the matter? It seems you are in haste, and if there be no great offense belongs to it, give your friend some touch of your late business. Affairs that walk, as they say spirits do, at midnight, have in them a wilder nature than the business that seeks dispatch by day.
My lord, I love you, and durst commend a secret to your ear much weightier than this work. The queen's in labor, they say, in great extremity, and feared she'll with the labor end.
The fruit she goes with, I pray for heartily, that it may find good time and live. But for the stock, Sir Thomas, I wish it grubbed up now.
Thinks I could cry the amen. And yet my conscience says she's a good creature, and sweet lady does deserve our better wishes.
But sir, hear me, Sir Thomas, you're a gentleman of mine own way. I know you wise, religious, and let me tell you, it will ne'er be well. 'Twill not Sir Thomas Lovell take it of me, till Cranmer, Cromwell, her two hands, and she sleep in their graves.
Now, sir, you speak of two the most remarked of the kingdom. As for Cromwell, besides that of the jewel house, is made master of the rolls and the king's secretary. Further, sir, stands in the gap in trade of mo preferments with which the line will load him. The archbishop is the king's hand and tongue. Who dare speak one syllable against him?
Yes, Sir Thomas, there are that dare, and I myself have ventured to speak my mind of him. And indeed, this day, sir, I may tell it you, I think I have incensed the lords of the council, that he is, for so I know he is, they know he is, a most arch heretic, a pestilence that does infect the land, with which they moved have broken with the king, who hath so far given ear to our complaint of his great grace and princely care, foreseeing those fell mischief our reasons laid before him, hath commanded tomorrow morning to the council board to be convented. He's a rank weed, Sir Thomas, and we must root him out. From your affairs, I hinder you too long. Good night, Sir Thomas.
Exeunt Gardiner and Page.
Many good nights, my lord. I rest your servant.
Enter King and Suffolk.
Charles, I will play no more tonight. My mind's not on. You are too hard for me.
Sir, I did never win of you before.
Little Charles, nor shall not when my fancy's on my play. Now, Lovell, from the Queen, what is the news?
I could not personally deliver to her what you commanded me, but by her woman I sent your message, who returned her thanks in the greatest humbleness and desired your good highness most heartily to pray for her.
What sayest thou, huh? To pray for her? What is she crying out?
So said her woman, and that her sufferance made almost each pain death.
Alas, good lady.
God safely quit her of her burthen, and with gentle travail to the gladding of your highness with an heir.
It's midnight, Charles. Prithee to bed, and in my prayers remember the state of my poor queen. Leave me alone, for I must think of that which company would not be friendly to.
I wish your highness a quiet night, and my good mistress will remember in my prayers.
Charles, good night.
Exit Suffolk.
Well, so what follows?
Enter Sir Anthony Denny.
Sir, I have brought my lord the archbishop as you commanded me.
Ah, Canterbury.
Aye, my good lord.
'Tis true. Where is he, Denny?
He attends your highness' pleasure.
Bring him to us.
This is about that which the bishop spake. I am happily come hither.
Enter Cranmer and Damney.
Avoid the gallery. I have said, be gone. What?
Exeunt Lovell and Denny.
I am fearful. What frowns he thus? Wherefore frowns he thus? 'Tis his aspect of terror. All's not well.
How now, my lord? You do desire to know wherefore I sent for you.
It is my duty to tend your highness pleasure.
Pray you arise, my good and gracious Lord of Canterbury. Come, you and I must walk a turn together. I have news to tell you. Come, give me your hand. Ah, my good Lord, I grieve at what I speak, and I am sorry to repeat what follows. I have, and most unwittingly of late, heard many grievous, I do say, my lord, grievous complaints of you, for which being considered have moved us and our council, that you shall this morning come before us, where I know you cannot with such freedom purge yourself, but that till further trial in those charges which will require your answer, you must take your patience to you and be well contented to make your house our tower. You, a brother of us, it fits we thus proceed, or else no witness would come against you.
I humbly thank your highness, and am right glad to catch this good occasion most thoroughly to be winnowed, where my chaff and cord shall fly asunder. For I know there's none stands under more calumnious tongues than I myself, poor man.
Stand up, good Canterbury. Thy truth and thy integrity is rooted in us, thy friend. Give me thy hand. Stand up. Prithee, let's walk. Now, by my holy dam, what manner of man are you? My lord, I looked you would have given me your petition that I should have ta'en some pains to bring together yourself and your accusers, and to have heard you without endurance further.
Most dread liege, the good I stand on is my truth and honesty. If they shall fail, I with mine enemies will triumph o'er my person, which I weigh not, being of those virtues vacant. I fear nothing. What can be said against me?
Know you not how your state stands in the world, with the whole world? Your enemies are many and not small. Their practices must bear the same proportion, and not ever the justice and the truth or the questions carries the due or the verdict with it. At what ease might corrupt minds procure, knaves as corrupt to swear against you? Such things have been done. You are potently opposed, and with malice of such great size. Ween you of better luck, I mean in perjured witness, than your master, whose minister you are, whilst here he lived upon this naughty earth. Go to, you take a precept for no leap of danger, and woe your own destruction.
God and your majesty protect mine innocence, or I fall into the trap is laid for me.
Be of good cheer. We shall no more prevail than we give way to, and keep comfort to you in this morning see you do appear before them. If they shall chance in charging you with matters to commit you, the best persuasions to the contrary fail not to use, and with what vehemency the occasion shall instruct you. If entreaties will render you no remedy, this ring deliver them, and your appeal to us there make before them. Look, the the good man weeps. He's honest on mine honor. God blessed mother. I swear he is true-hearted, and the soul none better in my kingdom. Get you gone, and do as I have bid you.
Exit Cranmer.
He has strangled his language in his tears.
Enter Old Lady. Come back! What mean you?
Page. Oh, I have it.
133.
Yes.
Come back! What mean you?
I'll not come back. The tidings that I bring will make my boldness manners. Now, good angels, fly over the royal head and shade thy person under their blessed wings.
Now by thy looks, I guess thy message. Is the queen delivered? Say aye. And by a boy?
I, my liege, and of a lovely boy, the God of heaven both now and ever bless her. 'Tis a girl, promises boys hereafter. Sir, your queen desires your visitation, and to be acquainted with the stranger. 'Tis as like you as cherry is to cherry.
Lovell,
Sir?
give her 100 marks. I'll to the queen.
Exit King.
100 marks. By this light, I'll have more. An ordinary groom is for such payment. I will have more, or scold it out of him. Said I for this, the girl was like to him. I'll have more, or else unsay it, And now, while 'tis hot, I'll put it to the issue.
Exit lady. Sina Secunda, enter Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury.
I hope I am not too late. And yet the gentleman that was sent to me from the council prayed me to make great haste. All fast? What means this? Ah, who waits there? Surely you know me.
Enter Keeper.
Yes, my lord, but yet I cannot help you.
Why?
Your grace must wait till you be called for.
Enter Dr. Butts.
Oh,
This is a peer of malice. I am glad I came this way so happily. The king shall understand it presently.
Exit Butts.
his Butts, the king's physician, as he passed along, how earnestly he cast his eyes upon me. Pray heaven he found not my disgrace. For certain this is a purpose laid by some that hate me. God turned their hearts, I never sought their malice. To quench mine honor, they would shame to make me wait else at door. A fellow counselor among boys, grooms, and lackeys. But their pleasures must be fulfilled, and I attend with patience.
Enter King and Butts at a window above.
I'll show your grace the strangest sight.
What's that, Butts?
Think your highness saw this many a day.
Body of me, where is it?
There, my lord, the high promotion of his grace of Canterbury, who holds his state adore most pursuivants, pages, and footboys.
Ha! Is he indeed? Is this the honor they do one another? 'Tis well there's one above them yet. I had thought they had parted so much honesty among them, at least good manners, as not thus to suffer a man of his place, and so near our favor, to dance attendance on the lordship's pleasures, and at the door too, like a post with packets. Oh, my holy Mary Butts, there's knavery. Let him alone and draw the curtain close. We shall hear more anon.
A council table brought in with chairs and stools and placed under the state. Enter Lord Chancellor, places himself at the upper end of the table, and on the left hand a seat being left void above him as for Canterbury's seat. Duke of Suffolk, Duke of Norfolk, Surrey, Lord Chamberlain, Gardiner seat themselves in order on each side. Cromwell at lower end as secretary.
Speak to the business, Master Secretary. Why are we met in council?
Please, your honors, the chief cause concerns his grace of Canterbury.
Has he had knowledge of it?
Yes.
Waits there. Without my noble lords.
Yes.
The Lord Archbishop, and has done half an hour to know your pleasures.
Let him come in.
Your grace may enter now.
Cranmer approaches the council table.
My good Lord Archbishop, I'm very sorry to sit here at the present and behold that chair stand empty. But we all are men in our own natures, frail and capable of our flesh. Few are angels, out of which frailty and want of wisdom you that best should teach us have misdemeaned yourself, and not a little. Toward the king first, then, his laws in filling the whole realm by your teaching and your chaplains, for so we are informed, with new opinions diverse and dangerous, which are heresies, and not reformed, may prove pernicious.
which reformation must be sudden too, my noble lords, for those that tame wild horses, hasten not in their hands to make him gentle, but stop their mouths with stubborn bits and spur them till they obey the manage. If we suffer out of our easiness and childish pity to one man's honor, this contagious sickness, farewell all physic. And what follows then? Commotions, uproars with the general taint of the whole state. As of late days, our neighbors, the upper Germany, can dearly witness, yes, yet freshly pitted in our memories.
Sorry.
My good lords, hitherto in all the progress, both of my life and office, I have labored with no little study, what my teaching and the strong course of my authority might go one way and safely, and the end was ever to do well. Nor is there living, I speak it with a single heart, my lords, a man that more detests, more stirs against, both in his private conscience and his place, defacers of a public peace than I do. Pray heaven the king may never find a heart with less allegiance in it. Men that make envy and crooked malice nourishment dare bite the best. I do beseech your lordships that in this case of justice, my accusers, be what they will, may stand forth face to face and freely urge against me.
Nay, my lord, that cannot be. You are a counselor, and by that virtue no man dare accuse you.
My lord, because we have business of more moment, we will be short with you. 'Tis his highness' pleasure and our consent for better trial of you. From hence you will be committed to the Tower, where being but a private man again, you shall know many dare accuse you boldly, more than I fear you are provided for. Ah, my good Lord of Winchester, I thank you. You are always my good friend. If your will pass, I shall both find your lordship, judge and juror. You are so merciful. I see your end, 'tis my undoing. Love and meekness, Lord, become a churchman better than ambition. Win straying souls with modesty again, cast none away. That I shall clear myself, lay all the weight ye can upon my patience. I make as little doubt as you do conscience in doing daily wrongs. I could say more, but reverence to your calling makes me modest. My lord, you are a secretary. That's the plain truth. Your painted gloss discovers to men that understand you, words and weakness.
My lord of Winchester, you are a little, by your good favor, too sharp. Men so noble, however faulty, yet should find respect for what they have been. 'Tis a cruelty to load a falling man.
Good Master Secretary, I cry your honor mercy. You may worst of all this table say so.
Why, my lord?
Do not I know you for a favorer of this new sect? Ye are not sound.
Not sound.
Not sound, I say.
Would you were half so honest. Men's prayers then would seek you, not their fears.
I shall remember this bold language.
Do remember your bold life, too.
This is too
This is
much.
too much. Forbear for shame, my lords.
I have done.
And I.
Then thus for you, my lord, it stands agreed, I take it by all voices, that forthwith you be conveyed to the Tower a prisoner, there to remain until the king's further pleasure be known unto us. You all agreed, lords?
We are. Is there no other way of mercy, but I must needs to the Tower, my lords? What other would you expect? You are strangely troublesome. Let some of the guard be ready there.
Enter the guard.
For me, must I go like a traitor thither?
Receive him and see him safe in the Tower.
Stay, good my lords, I have a little yet to say. Look there, my lords. By virtue of that ring, I take my cause out of the grips of cruel men and give it to a most noble judge, the king, my master.
This is the king's ring.
'Tis no counterfeit.
'Tis the right ring, by heaven. I told ye all, when we first put this dangerous stone a-rowling, 'twould fall upon ourselves.
You think, my lords, the king will suffer but the little finger of this man to be vexed?
'Tis now too certain. How much more is his life and value with him? Would I were fairly out on it.
My mind gave me in seeking tales and informations against this man, whose honesty the devil and his disciples only envy at, yet blew the fire that burns ye, now have at ye. And to the king, frowning on them, takes his seat.
Dread sovereign, how much are we bound to heaven in daily thanks that gave us such a prince, not only good and wise, but most religious, one that in all obedience makes the church the chief aim of his honor, and to strengthen that holy duty out of dear respect. His royal self in judgment comes to hear the cause betwixt her and this great offender.
You were ever good at sudden condemnations, Bishop of Winchester, but now I come not to heart such flattery now. And in my presence, they are too thin and base to hide offenses. To me, you cannot reach. You play the spaniel and think the wagging of your tongue to win me, but whatsoe'er thou talk'st me for, I'm sure thou hast a cruel nature and a bloody. Good man, sit down. Now let me see the proudest, he that dares most but wag his finger at thee. By all that's holy, he had better starve than but once think his place becomes thee not.
May it please your grace.
No, sir. It does not please me. I had thought I had men of some understanding and wisdom of my counsel, but I find none. Was it discretion, lords, to let this man, this good man, few of you deserve that title, this honest man wait like a lousy footboy at chamber door, and one as great as you are? Why, what a shame was this! Did my commission bid ye so far forget yourselves? I give ye power as he was a counselor to try him, not as a groom. There's some of ye, I see, more out of malice than integrity, would try him to the utmost, had ye mean, which ye shall never have while I live.
Thus far, my most dread sovereign, may it like your grace to let my tongue excuse all. What was purposed concerning his imprisonment was rather, if there be faith in men, meant for his trial and fair purgation to the world, than malice, I'm sure, in me.
Well, well, my lords, respect him, take him, and use him well. He's worthy of it. I shall say thus much for him. If a prince may be beholding to a subject, I am for his love and service, so to him. Make me no more ado, but all embrace him. Be friends for shame, my lords. My Lord of Canterbury, I have a suite which you must not deny me. That is, a fair young maid that yet wants baptism. You must be godfather and answer for her.
The greatest monarch now alive may glory in such an honor. How may I deserve it, that am a poor and humble subject to you?
Come, come, my lord, you'd spare your spoons. You shall have two noble partners with you, the old Duchess of Norfolk and the Lady Marquess Dorset. Will these please you? One more, my lord of Winchester. I charge you, embrace and love this man.
With a true heart and brother love, I do it. And yet let heaven witness how dear I hold this confirmation.
Good man, these joyful tears show thy true hearts. The common voice I see is verified of thee, which says thus: Do my Lord of Canterbury a show to turn, and he's your friend forever. Come, Lord, we trifle time away. I long to have this young one made a Christian. As I have made ye one Lord's, one remain. So I grow stronger, you more honor. So I grow stronger, you more honor gain.
Exeunt. Scene at Tertia. Noise and tumult within. Enter Porter and his man.
Leave your noise anon, you rascals. You take the court for parish garden, you rude slaves, leave your gaping.
Good Master Peter, I belong in the larder.
On to the gallows, me hang your rogue. Is this a place to roar in? Fetch me a dozen crabtree staves and strong ones. These are but switches to them. I'll scratch your heads. You must be seeing christenings. Look for ale and cakes here, you rude rascals.
Sir, be patient. 'Tis as much impossible unless we sweep him from the door with cannons to scatter him, as 'tis to make him sleep on May Day morning, which will never be. We may as well push against poles as stir him.
How got they in and be hanged?
Alas, I know not how gets the tide in. As much as one sound cudgel of 4 foot. You see the poor remainder could distribute. I made no spare, sir.
You did nothing, sir.
I am not Samson, nor Sir Guy, nor Colbrand to mow 'em down before me, but if I spared any that had to hit, either young or old, he or she, cuckold or cuckold maker, let me ne'er hope to see it chin again, and that I would not for a cow, God save her.
Do you hear, Master Porter?
I shall be with you presently, good Mr. Puppy. Keep the door closed, sirrah.
What would you have me do?
What should you do but knock them down by the dozens? Is this more fields to muster in? Or have we some strange Indian with a great tool come to court, the women so besiege us? Bless me, what a fry of fornications at door. On my Christian conscience, this one christening will beget 1,000. Here will be father, godfather, and all together.
The spoons will be the bigger, sir. There's a fellow somewhat near the door. He should be a brat easier by his face. For on my conscience, 20 of the dog days now reign in his nose. All that stand about him are under the line. They need no other penance. That fire drake did I hit 3 times on the head, and 3 times was his nose discharged against me. He stands there like a mortar piece to blow us. There was a haberdasher's wife of small wit near him that railed upon me till her pink porringer fell off her head for kindling such a combustion in the state. I missed the meteor once and hit that woman who cried out clubs when I might see from far some 40 truncheoners draw to her succor, which were the hope of the strand where she was quartered. They fell on. I made good my place. At length they came to the broom staff to me. I defied him still, when suddenly a file of boys behind him, loose shot, delivered such a shower of pibbles that I was fain to draw mine honor in and let him win the work. The devil was amongst them, I think, surely.
These are the youths that thunder at a playhouse and fight for bitten apples, and no audience but the tribulation of Tower Hill or the limbs of Limehouse, so dear brothers are able to endure. I have some of them in limbo patrum, and they're there like to dance these 3 days. Besides the running banquet of 2 beetles that is to come.
Enter Lord Chamberlain.
Mercy me, what a multitude are here. They grow still too from all parts. They're coming as if we kept a fair here. Where are these porters? These lazy days. You've made a fine hand, fellows. There's a trim rabble let in. Are all these your faithful friends in the suburbs? We shall have great store of room, no doubt, left for the ladies when they pass back from the christening.
Please, your honor, we are but men. Oh, so many may do, not being torn to pieces we have done, and army cannot rule them.
As I live, if the king blame me for it, I'll lay you all by the heels and suddenly. and on your heads clap round fines for neglect. You're lazy knaves, and here ye lie baiting of bombards when you should do service. Hark the trumpets sound, they're come already from the christenings. Go break among the press and find a way out to let the troop pass fairly, or I'll find a marshalsea shall hold ye play these 2 months.
Make way there for the princess.
You great fellow, stand up close or I'll make your head ache.
You the chamberlain, get up on the rail. I'll peck you over the pale's else.
Exeunt, Scena Quarta, enter trumpets sounding. The 2 aldermen, Lord Mayor, Garter, Cranmer, Dukes of Norfolk and his marshals, staff, Duke of Suffolk, 2 noblemen bearing great bowls for the christening gifts, then 4 noblemen bearing a canopy under the which the Duchess of Norfolk, godmother, bearing the child richly habited in a mantle and a train borne by a lady. There follows the Marchioness Dorset, the other godmother and ladies. The troop pass once about the stage, and Garter speaks. Heaven, from thy endless goodness send prosperous life, long and ever happy, to the high and mighty Princess of England, Elizabeth. Flourish, enter king and guard.
And to your royal grace and the good queen, my noble partners, and myself thus pray all comfort, joy in this most gracious lady, heaven ever laid up to make parents happy, may hourly fall upon ye.
Thank you, good Lord Archbishop. What is her name?
Elizabeth.
Stand up, Lord. With this kiss, take my blessing. God protect thee, into whose hand I give thy life.
Amen.
My noble gossips, I have been too prodigal. I thank ye heartily. So shall this lady, when she has so much English.
Let me speak, sir, for heaven now bids me, and the words I utter, let none think flattery, for they'll find 'em truth. This royal infant, heaven still moves about her, though in her cradle, yet now promises upon this land 1,000,000 blessings, which time shall bring to ripeness. She shall be, but few now living can behold that goodness, a pattern to all princes living with her, and all that shall succeed. Saba was never more covetous of wisdom and fair virtue than this pure soul shall be. All princely graces that mold up such a mighty piece as this is, with all the virtues that attend the good, shall still be doubled on her. Truth shall nurse her. Holy and heavenly thoughts still counsel her. She shall be loved and feared. Her own shall bless her. Her foes shake like a field of beaten corn and hang their heads with sorrow. Good grows with her. In her days, every man shall eat in safety under his own vine what he plants, and sing the merry songs of peace to all his neighbors. God shall be truly known, and those about her. From her shall read the perfect way of honor, and by those claim their greatness, not by blood, nor shall this peace sleep with her. But as when the bird of wonder dies, the maiden phoenix, her ashes new create another heir, as great in admiration as herself. So shall she leave her blessedness to one, when heaven shall call her from this cloud of darkness, who from the sacred ashes of her honor shall starlight rise, as great in fame as she was, and so stand fixed. Peace, plenty, love, truth, terror. That were the servants to this chosen infant shall then be his, and like a vine grow to him. Wherever the bright sun of heaven shall shine, his honor and the greatness of his name shall be and make new nations. He shall flourish and like a mountain cedar reach his branches to all the plains about him. Our children's children shall see this and bless heaven.
Thou speakest wonders.
She shall be to the happiness of England, an aged princess. Many days shall see her, and no day without a deed to crown it. Would I had known no more. But she must die, she must. The saints must have her. Yet a virgin, a most unspotted lily shall she pass to the ground, and all the world shall mourn her.
O Lord Archbishop, thou hast made me now a man. Never before of this happy child did I get anything. This oracle of comfort has so pleased me that when I am in heaven, I shall desire to see what this child does and praise my Maker. I thank you all. To you, my good Lord Mayor, and you, good brethren, I am much beholding. I have received much honor by your presence, and ye shall find me thankful. Lead the way, lords. You must all see the queen, and she must thank ye, and she will be sick else. This day no man think has business at his house, for all shall stay. This little one shall make it holy day.
Exeunt. The epilogue. 'Tis 10 to 1. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
'Tis 10 to 1. This play can never please all that are here. Some come to take their ease and sleep an act or two, but those we fear who we've frightened with our trumpets. So 'tis clear thou say 'tis not. Others to hear the city abused extremely, and to cry, that's witty, which we have not done neither. That I fear all the expected good we are like to hear. For this play at this time is only in the merciful construction of good women. For such a one we showed 'em. If they smile and say 'twill do, I know within a while all the best men are ours. For 'tis ill hap if they hold when their ladies bid 'em clap.
Fini. All right. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Good job, everybody. I mean, my apologies for us starting late and for some of the things like Kitty. I mean, giving you both Gardner and Cramner really did not make much sense there. So sorry about that, But we do.
Makes it lively.
Yeah.
Apart from me.
I always feel that having conversations with myself is one of the rare times I get intelligent conversation.
Yes, indeed. Apparently, this play, not only did they have the thing that on June 29th, 1613, while they were doing a performance of this play, they burned down the globe,
Wow.
And it's like they don't even have any battles in this thing. They just had the cannons going off for that party at the beginning, and that set the globe on fire. And the big news we have is that there was one guy whose breeches caught on fire, but fortunately was able to put it out with his beer. So we have
A taste of good beer.
yes, it is. But when
Those
sometimes
his breeches, though, he had.
I'd rather have the missing plays. Thank you.
there were plays that were lost there. I don't know that there's that. I mean, of course, there is all that stuff about Elizabeth in there. I mean, even at that. Oh, even she's about to be christened as a baby, and Cramner's saying all this stuff, and she's going to live this great life, and then there'll be an even greater heir after her. It's because that's you have to kiss James's ass.
A phoenix is going to rise from her ashes.
Yeah.
A male phoenix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But also when they did a performance of it after they'd rebuilt the globe with a tile roof then, and they had a thing where the Duke of Buckingham at that time, who was a different family, but he saw it to watch the bit about the Duke of Buckingham, and then he left. like after it's like, because the Duke of Buckingham's dead. Well, then that's the end of the play for me. So he just left the play, and he ended up like getting assassinated within the week. So I don't know why everybody talks about the Scottish play when it's this play that's.
You mean Macbeth?
Don't say it.
You mean Macbeth?
Only stupid people break curses like that. Don't do it again.
Okay, well,
It's like
anyways, we just
Macbeth.
have and if
Oh, she's
anybody's got
such a
anything
big
else they'd
bitch.
like to say about Henry VIII, we are still live, and if we'd like to, any other comments on that?
That can of virus is unscripted.
What?
So how much did Shakespeare actually write of this?
Well, they think it's up for debate, but it's believed that it was a collaboration with Fletcher. And I think generally the sort of way it is, like with Two Noble Kinsmen, and with Two Noble Kinsmen, I think they think it's like about a third Shakespeare and 2/3 Fletcher. And I think they may be like more half and half this, or maybe even a little more Shakespeare, because there's some.
And you can hear bits of it where the dialogue gets a bit clunky.
Yeah, there's like a cop out, though that Greek chorus thing of two gentlemen just narrating them.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's like so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
do we need?
You
Do
can
we
usually
need that?
tell the quality of the writing sort of.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I think because he does use those gentlemen very well in Cymbeline and also in the Winter's Tale, and I think it's I think it's kind of, he may have done that and then like Fletcher trying to copy it for this, as one of the greatest hits. But
It's fun though.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do all of them. You find I'm heating not a furnace for your foes so hot that it do singe yourself.
Yeah.
That
Bang.
was and that happens to all of them. It's like after they all get Wolsey, then they go after Granmer, and then but yeah.
Yeah, nobody really escapes.
Yeah, it's like,
Somebody else-
Thomas More, that's going to work out well for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, being either an archbishop or a secretary meant
Yeah.
Yes.
Just never take the Great Seal. If he offers it to you, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Kiss of death.
What do you even use it? I guess it's like the Great Seal when you're like sealing a contract or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is give me money because I've got the Great Seal with me.
But if this was a play in praise of Elizabeth, they mentioned the stepmother very little. Thing. Yes, she was there. Yes, she did get married, but Elizabeth is the main thing.
Whereas
no
Anne
other
Boleyn
heirs.
really's only got like 2 little scenes, and then you have this huge coronation that they talk about, but you don't actually. She doesn't actually get to be queen, although they call her queen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. Anyways, thank you all so much. Also, just I know for those in the New York area, we have upcoming live readings. We have on this, which Bill, you're in on Saturday.
My first live one.
Yay, that's great. I don't know, for some reason I thought you were on the West Coast, so I'm so glad you're here. And I won't be there
They
because
provide scripts. They provide scripts, or to bring our own scripts.
Scripts will be there. Scripts
All right.
scripts arrived today. I made them up on my thing, so yes, there are.
Is this Saturday?
It's this Saturday. Yeah, Mark Gehring's doing it. We also next Saturday, I know for March 23rd, we're doing Merchant of Venice down in Brooklyn at the Walt Whitman Library, and I believe Jack Yellow is still looking for people for that. If anybody's available and interested, I know Jennifer and Angus, you guys are
Can't make
out
it?
of area, but
No.
A little bit far away.
Oh,
yes. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for staying up. I didn't give you anything else later on in case you wanted to.
I wanted to. I wanted to listen to it. Is the short project still involved with?
Yes. Yes, they are. They've got we've got things coming up. I think actually he just finally I think they're going to be doing Arms and the Man on. He's been trying to get a cast together for Arms and a Man for a long time, and I think for
Oh.
September 24th they're going to do a reading of that. Because we also do that. We also, of course, have the Moliere Rendezvous, where we're going to be doing Don Juan on October 7th.
Yes, I got that finished. Oh,
While we're having
Really contact about these. I don't think I know about that.
Okay, well, it was in. I mean, you did sort of respond to the last thing I sent with the general email with all of the information.
Yeah, I didn't
But
hear
I will-
anything from anybody, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, I will do that because I know I definitely. I mean, I believe that for the Hamlet. I mean, yeah, Mark's got that all cast. So that one. Yeah, he's got that one cast, but I know that James is definitely looking for people for Merchant of Venice next Saturday, but it's in Brooklyn at the Walt Whitman Library. So we want to get people for that.
going provincial.
Yeah, really. Someday, I mean, yeah, I sometimes even do readings at my churches. But anyways, so yeah, I guess I'm still live streaming, so I guess I should probably stop that.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine was trying to get me to go out to the